campus of West Allegheny
Sam
High School.
Worley, number 1, will kick off for Hampton.
Of the 2016 WPIAL regular season as the Hampton Talbots are set to kick away against the hometown West Allegheny Indians. Sam Worley will do the honors, kicking it back to Kenny White, who's going to take it from the 1-yard line. Has a confident block, is in front of him at the 25, has a crease at the 30. He's along the far sideline, 50, 40-yard line. He's got one man to beat, and he will beat the kicker Worley. And Kenny White on the opening kickoff with a 99-yard return for the opening touchdown of Week 7.
At the 1-yard line and went 99 yards for a West Allegheny touchdown. Number 22, DJ Absatnik, in to attempt the extra point for the Indians.
Starting quarterback for this West Allegheny team will do the holding honors. Absatnik is chasing a WPIAL kicking record, as Absatnik has had 27 career field goals in his career, 4-year starting kicker for West Allegheny. The record is 35, held by Peters Township's Bob
Absatnik's kick goes up and through the uprights. So on the 99-yard touchdown run by Kenny White, the extra point by Absatnik to score. Early in the football game, West Allegheny 7 and Hampton nothing.
As I mentioned, we welcome you to West Allegheny High School at Joe P. DeMcCullough Stadium. I am Brandon Onside. Joining alongside me is Joe Sponsor. And Joe, what does Hampton have to do in order to get back into this game?
Number 22, DJ Absatnik to kick off for West Allegheny.
Tyler Steedle back deep to receive for the Talbots, looking to give Hampton a fresh slate here in Week 7.
29, Evan Walker. Number 9 is Steve Anderson.
Move it down to the Hampton side of the field. We're seeing by Bianco at the 8-yard line, along the far sideline. He has a crease, and now a pair of special teams blunders, both committed by West Allegheny and Hampton. Gives the Talbots a good field position at the 44-yard line. First and 10 from the far hash.
Looks like Alex Bianco taking that kickoff, picking up big yardage for the Talbots, and the officials will mark it at the Talbot 44-yard line. First down, 10 for Hampton.
Carries 556 yards on the year, excluding Week 0. They were shut up on the Forest Planets. And Bianco will take out the Wildcat formation, tries to bounce to the left-hand side. He's got a crease, tries to stretch it to the outside, but he'll be ran out of bounds there by Neville Ledford at about the 46-yard line.
Alex Bianco, number 39, on the direct snap goes across the left side.
As you mentioned, Bianco
Pick up about 2 yards, second down 8 at the Hampton 46-yard line.
Has been one of the lone bright spots for this Hampton Talbot attack. As Hampton will break the huddle, Ross Anderson will get his first snaps in the shotgun formation. 2 receivers to his left, 3 to his right. As he will call the play and expect to pass here as he tries to get West Allegheny to jump off sides. Does not work. He gives a jet sweep to Michael Hoffner, going from left to right. He's able to get
and off from quarterback.
He'll be brought down on the play at the 47-yard line.
Anderson to
Anthony Delavade, bringing up 3rd down and 7.
That was Hoffner carrying. Stopped by Anthony Tompkins on the 44.
Hampton Talbot 47-yard line.
3rd down and 7.
46 to convert. As Anderson carries to his left, two to his right. He'll take the snap, being pressured by Brennan Simmons. And Simmons will bring him down in the backfield. The first sack of the contest for West Allegheny. So Hampton goes
Brennan Simmons, number 33, getting the sack for the Indians. So it'll bring up a fourth down and long for the Talbots. Number 19, Brandon Lippert, your speed for West Allegheny.
With a full head of steam on Ross Anderson, and Hampton will punt.
Sam Worley kicking off the punting.
Brandon Lippert. Lippert, a very dangerous return man, takes from his own 23-yard line, splits a pair of Hampton Talbots, slips and falls at the 37-yard line.
Brandon Lippert takes it to the 26. He'll bring it back across the 35.
From their own 37-yard line, first down and 10.
Officials will mark it at the West Allegheny 37-yard line.
Passer in the Allegheny 9 Conference on the year, 64
First down 10 for the Indians.
103 attempts, 1,075 yards. Has thrown 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, including a pair of touchdowns last week against Upper St. Clair. But West Allegheny will run out of the Wildcat formation. Kenny White will assume the role of the Wildcat QB as White trips and falls as he crosses the line of scrimmage, stretches his way forward to maybe the 40-yard line, and that's where
the 5, Kenny White, takes a direct snap for the Indians. He'll be tripped up a little bit at the 39-yard line, where it'll be second down and 8.
Second down and 8 from their own 39-yard line. Nick Ross will take his first snaps under center in the shotgun formation. He releases Brandon Lippert in motion, going from right to left, and Ross will toss it to Kenny White, trying to bounce it, trying to shed away from a tackler, fighting his way, but he will lose yardage. Making the stop on the play, Michael Hoffner wrapping up White in the backfield. White tried to squirm free, but could not do so. And thus, Kenny White now has 2 carries for 0 yards as West Allegheny is backed up to the original line of scrimmage. Third down and 10 from their own 37.
On the play, bring up a third down and 10 for the Indians.
The first play of scrimmage, Kenny White took it to the house, 58 yards to get the drive off to the races, and 33-7 victory over St. Clair.
Kenny White, the leading rusher, with 59 carries. Or excuse me, 63 carries for 459 yards, has scored 9 total touchdowns, including the 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown to open this game, as Nick Ross will throw the pass to Mateo Vandamia. Vandamia fighting his way forward inside Talbot territory to the 38-yard line. He'll be brought down by a host of Talbots, among them Ross Anderson and Jack Bish, but nonetheless, that'll be good for a West Allegheny first down to the 38-yard line for a 25-yard pickup.
Vandamia, just a sophomore, but him, Joey Gibbon, and Brandon Lippert are at the heart of the West Allegheny offense at the receiver position. They've been doing an excellent job from Mike Taylor.
Number 7, Mateo
Vandamia now goes over 300 yards on the season. Coming in this game, he had 272 yards.
At the Talbot 38-yard
Excuse me, Mateo Vandamia is now at 297 total receiving yards on now 15 catches. First and 10 for West Allegheny at the 38-yard line. Ross will hand off to Cameron Cornell. Cornell with the biggest rush for West Allegheny, splits the defense, and is brought down right at the 30-yard line by a host of Talbots. And we'll call it a gain of 8, second down and 2 for West Allegheny.
Second down 2.
Cameron Cornell is the nephew.
Ball is at the Talbot 30-yard line.
And he is a senior. He has been doing great work both at linebacker and at running back for this West Allegheny team.
Cameron Cornell also assuming the number 27, which is the same number that Brian Cornell wore in high school whenever he played for West Allegheny in the early 90s. As it'll be second down and 2 for West Allegheny. Nick Ross in the shotgun. Kenny White behind him. Fullback Anthony Takis to his right. And Ross will turn and give it to Kenny White. Has a convoy of blockers, but Hampton will converge from the side. Jack Bish making the tackle from behind, as Kenny White will have enough for the West Allegheny first down to about the 27-yard line. So West Allegheny is rolling offensively. Something I've noticed throughout this season thus far is that West Allegheny, they're not going to have a whole lot of one-play drives. but they are going to have lots of long, methodical drives that wear the defense out and gives West Allegheny great position in the second half with comfortable leads.
That's how it's been since Bob Palco's been the coach. They're a ground and pound team, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Kenny White now in the shotgun with backs to either side. White will take the read option along the right-hand side, and he will run through a Hampton Talbot down to the 21-yard line. Ross Anderson, the Hampton quarterback, assuming the role of corner for the Talbots, brings him down at the 21-yard line for a gain of 6.
Number 8 to stop.
As West Allegheny will have second down and 4 just outside of the 20-yard line. 6:15 showing on the West Allegheny scoreboard. The Indians lead 7-0 over the Hampton Talbots. West Allegheny leading the conference thus far with an undefeated 6-0 mark. They are the only undefeated team remaining in Class 5A. As Nick Ross will go in the shotgun formation. He'll throw a quick pass to Brandon Lipford. And that ball is just pulled in by Lipford before it can hit the ground. And they will have a first down to the 16-yard line. The ball was batted away by a Hampton Talbot defender. I believe that was Jacob Joyce batting the ball away, but Lipford was able to corral the ball and get the first down.
Everything has gone awry for Hampton here in the first 5 minutes of the ball game. They wanted to send West Allegheny a message that they were going to be here and be competing with them all night, but so far that is just not happening for Hampton.
The lone spark for Hampton offensively was the opening kickoff, but ever since then the Talbots have been silenced. Kenny White taking the direct snap, hurdles over a Hampton Talbot that was on the ground, and the entire Hampton defense will swarm under and bring White down after a 2-yard pickup at about the 14-yard line. That'll be a gain of about 2 for West Allegheny. Second down and 8 coming up for Coach Bob Palco's squad.
Pick up about 2 yards.
The only difference there was that the defender was down on the ground, whereas Lamont Wade hurdled someone who was standing up last week against Clareton. But that was the Allakuba-Clareton game. This is the West Allegheny-Hampton game, and the Indians are up 7-0 over Hampton with 4:45 left to play in the first quarter. Nick Ross be in the shotgun formation, Lipford to his right, 2 receivers to his left. And Ross will take the snap, throwing the screen pass to his running back, Cam Cornell. Bianco tries to push him out of bounds. Cornell will run into the end zone, but the referees will say that Cornell stepped out of bounds at the 13-yard line.
The official, I guess it was stepped out of bounds near the 13-yard line.
You have to applaud the effort there from number 27, Cam Cornell.
Absolutely. Cornell, a very hard-nosed runner, just like his uncle Brian Cornell was whenever he played here at West Allegheny, now assuming the role of defensive coordinator and has been so for the last several years here at West Allegheny. The Indians will break the huddle and have third down and about 7 from the 13-yard line. Ross under center yet again. Lipford to his right, Joey Diven, and another receiver to his left as Ross will take the snap, looking, rolling out to his left as he has all kinds of greenery. Ross being under pressure by Bianco, throws to the corner of the end zone, and it is caught. No, it is not. It is rolled just out of bounds as we have a flag down at the 10-yard line. As we take a look at the replay here, Ross throwing a bullet to Connor Johnson, and Johnson was right on that white out-of-bounds line as we have our first flag of the day coming up.
The second time in as many plays that the Indians have been just an inch shy of expanding this lead to 13.
We'll wait for the official call.
Connor Johnson is a late player on this team. He joined the team in week 3 as he was a heavy baseball player for Brian Cornell's baseball team. He has played football for the past couple of years. However, this year he wanted to take a year off, and he couldn't resist the urge to come back and play football, as the call is going to be an illegal man downfield against West Allegheny. That penalty is declined. So now it's decision time for Bob Palco and his West Allegheny team, as we have fourth down and 8 for the Indians at the 13-yard line of Hampton.
And they will
Brian Cornell, also the baseball coach at West Allegheny,
decline the penalty, so that touchdown was not a touchdown.
So kind of a jack of all trades.
Bob Palco will send out the field goal unit for DJ Upsatnik to attempt
DJ
this
Upsatnik
29-yard
into
field
the
goal
field goal
attempt
here.
from the near hash mark, looking to give DJ his 28th career field goal of the year. It would be his 8th of the year, as Upsatnik will lay into this kick. Good hold, good kick, and that one splits the upright. So West Allegheny will assume a 10-0 lead over the Hampton Talbots. 4:23 left to play in the first quarter.
It's a bit of a moral victory there for Hampton, holding West Allegheny to just a DJ Upsatnik field goal. But nonetheless, giving away points is never good, especially their backs are already against the wall as Hampton is coming in 11-6.
West Allegheny leading Hampton 10-0 over the winless Hampton Talbots. I'm Brandon Rosside, joined alongside my partner Joe Smeltzer, as West Allegheny will kick off for the second time in this contest. The Indians are 6-0 on the year, 5-0 in the conference, and they have pitched 4 shutouts in 6 games this year. They lead the entire WPIAL in defense. They've given up the fewest points out of any team in the WIPU. They've given up 23 points this year. Post-Gazette will tell you otherwise. With a 23-7 win over Fox Chapel, it was actually a 23-0 victory over the Foxes. So that's 4 shutouts in 6 games. The second place team with the second fewest points, I should say, in the WPIAL is Jeanette in Class 1A. They have given up 24 points. West Allegheny looking to hold the moniker of the fewest scoring defense in the entire Western Pennsylvania area, as DJ Upsatnik will lay into this kick. That will be kicked towards the far side, fielded by Bianco at the 1-yard line, and he will run right into West Allegheny's Will Weber. Will Weber has been a defensive demon for this Indian team, as Hampton will take over first down and 10 from their own 16-yard line.
Brandon, you mentioned earlier about statistics.
Upended by number 47, Paul Fedorko.
You know, the old cliche defense.
So the Talbots will put the ball in play first down.
Brian Cornell believe that 100%. They've had great defenses in the past, and I'd say 2016 ranks up with the very best we've seen here.
As a matter of fact, they've had 7 of the best defenses in the WPIAL, with 7 WPIAL championships, 8 appearances in the title game, as Hampton will have first and 10. Anderson will send Hoffner in motion, and he will give it, no correction, that is Michael Yakic, and Yakic will get down to about the 23-yard line. Correction again, that's Tyler Steedle on the carry. Easy for me to spot that one out, as he is brought down by a tribe of Indians at the 22-yard line, so that'll be a pickup of about 5. The longest run from scrimmage for Hampton will bring up second down and 5. Anderson will go in the shotgun. 2 receivers to his left, 3 to his right. 3:40 left to play in the first quarter there. Trail West Allegheny 10-0, as Anderson will throw a pass intended for Austin Steedle, but it will be batted away by the West Allegheny defense, and will lead to a third down and 5. On the defensive play, looks like it was a combination of Matt Holmes and Will Weber. Holmes, a 4-year starter for this West Allegheny team, has played a variety of positions, including the defensive line, where he resides here in his senior season. He is also a linebacker. On offense, he's played left tackle, right tackle, tight end, fullback. He's played a variety of positions for Paul Palco. As Anderson in the shotgun again, 2 receivers to his left, 3 to his right. Anderson will throw out to Bianco, who has a wide open lane and will pick up the first down for the Talbots down to the 29-yard line. So the Talbots will have their first down of the contest.
Yeah, and good job by Anderson avoiding the wild rush of number 2, Will Weber, and finding Bianco for that first down. Aggressiveness is a staple of the West Allegheny defense, and you saw it on that play, even if it did not end in a positive result.
First down and 10 for the Talbots at their own 28-yard line. As West Allegheny assuming the pink out for the first time since 2013. The Talbots will send a man in motion in Steedle. Anderson will keep it himself, has a wide open lane on the far sideline at the 40. and he will pick up the first down for Hampton down to the 40-yard line, where Joey Divins able to put a stop to that run after 12 yards picked up by Anderson.
And there you see the running ability of the quarterback, Anderson. This is what the Talbots want. They want to keep the ball for a long period of time. They want to wear down the West Allegheny defense, and this is a good start to doing that in their third offensive possession of the game.
And if you're West Allegheny, you want to put a helmet on to Ross Anderson, keep him contained, and at least running the ball so that way he stays in the pocket and forces bad passes. And Anderson will throw out to his wide receiver in Will Shuett, and Shuett is forced out of bounds at about the 44-yard line for a pickup of 4, 2nd and 6.
Will Shuett, number 10, pulls in the pass from Anderson.
Randy mentioned earlier about West Allegheny never being a team known for big plays. That's what the Talbots are doing here, just short game after short game, and they're hoping that it adds up and leads to some points on the board.
The Talbots looking to wear out the West Allegheny defense in their second possession of the game. They have 2nd down and 6 from the 44-yard line on the far hash mark. Ross Anderson is in the shotgun. He will throw out to his receiver. It is well short of that intended receiver, Brandon Sickles. As Sickles was wide open on the play, Anderson just couldn't make the throw there.
Yeah, Sickles wide open, looking for another one of those short gains to keep wearing down the West Allegheny defense, but just a poor toss from Anderson, and that sets up a important 3rd down and 6 for Hampton.
Hampton's assumed a number of offensive strategies to begin the game. In the beginning of the year, they've gone pass, and then run every once in a while, and then in the second half, they would just run Alex Bianco down the defense's throat. But now they've gone a more balanced attack as Bianco will assume the Wildcat formation with trips to his left. Bianco going up the middle, finds a crease, but it gets quickly closed up at the 45-yard line, brought down on the play by the West Allegheny defense. Brennan Simmons in on the stop, bring up a 4th down and 5 for Hampton.
Yeah, interesting decision to come out of the Wildcat on a 3rd down and 6. Bianco can run, but he only got 3 yards, and now it is 4th and 3, and Hampton will be forced to punt it away, and the drive stalls once again.
Sam Whirling out for the 2nd time to punt for Hampton. Brandon Lipford back deep to receive. West Allegheny has been able to block some punts, and they got a wide open man. Sam Whirling will take it on the fake punt. Wide open lane, has the 1st down and more along the far sideline. And Hampton caught West Allegheny napping on special teams, and it pays off for Coach Jock DiMatteo and his squad. 1st and 10 Hampton at the West Allegheny 42.
And that is an example of playing with nothing to lose. Hampton down 10-0. They fake a punt. When you don't have as much to lose and don't have as much riding on a game, you're more willing to take risk like that, and the Talbots took that risk, and it paid off for them.
1st and 10 Hampton. First time inside West Allegheny territory to the 42-yard line. Now under 2 minutes left to play here in this first quarter. West Allegheny assuming a 10-0 lead over Hampton. Anderson under center for the first time, gives it to Alex Bianco off left tackle, and he'll be brought down as he crosses the 40-yard line by Will Weber right at that 40-yard line. That's a gain of 2 for Bianco's 2nd down and 8.
Making a stop for the Indians.
Last week against Upper St. Clair, the West Allegheny defense stood tall against a stingy Upper St. Clair attack, forced 4 turnovers against the Panthers compared to West Allegheny's 1, which that 1 turnover occurred late in the 3rd quarter into the 4th, as Hampton will go under center yet again, and the handoff again goes to Bianco in between left tackle and left guard. And again, Will Weber coming in and making the stop. Weber's having a pretty good game defensively thus far for West Allegheny, and Hampton now has a 3rd and 7 from the 39.
Yes, once again, the Talbots trying to run it down the throats of the West Allegheny defense, and it's getting them some yards. And let's see if they can keep it going and hopefully make things a little interesting as the first quarter draws to a close.
3rd down and 7. 35 ticks to talk in the first quarter. Anderson under center has a jumbo formation to his right. Bianco in the backfield. He'll give to Bianco, trying to make something out of it. Splits the defense slightly and falls forward for a pickup of about 3 down to the 36-yard line. Nothing doing there not able to pick up the first down, and Jock DiMatteo will send out the special teams unit. Matt Holmes brings him down at the 36. And it looks like Hampton may go for it on 4th down and 3. And like you said, Joe, earlier, that is a sign of nothing to lose as the first quarter will draw to a close. So after 12 minutes of play, West Allegheny leads the Hampton Talbots by a score of 10-0. As we're going to take a quick break here from West Allegheny High School, you're listening to the West Allegheny Sports Network.
Postseason coming up shortly as they qualified out of their section.
Ross Anderson will throw deep and complete the pass to the Hampton receiver in Austin Steedle. And the Talbots are wearing down this West Allegheny defense as we start the second quarter. They have 1st down and 10 at the 23-yard line of West Allegheny.
As Austin Steedle is the top receiver for this Talbots offense. And I love the aggressiveness of Coach Jock DiMatteo going for it on 4th down. First with a fake punt, and now going for it on 4th and 3. And let's see if it gets them anywhere.
The West Allegheny defense has surrendered very few points. They've only given up 3 touchdowns on the year, as Anderson in the shotgun looking to put up the 4th touchdown against this West Allegheny defense, as the handoff goes to Tyler Steedle. And Steedle on the sweep is able to get to about the 20-yard line, where he'll be brought down by Anthony Delavade for a pickup of about 3, 3rd down. Make that 2nd down and about 7. Hampton has been able to methodically run the ball down West Allegheny's throat, catching them snapping with a couple passes, as Hampton has a 2nd and 7 from the 21. Anderson in the shotgun, nobody behind him. 2 receivers to his right, 3 to his left, as Anderson will throw, and the pass is going to be incomplete. Bounces off the hands of a diving Tyler Steedle. Kenny White on the coverage for West Allegheny. Kenny, a tremendous defensive back for this West Allegheny team. One of the team leaders in terms of pass breakups for this team. Hampton has 3rd down and 7 from the 21.
Kenny is the younger brother of Whitney White, who's a West Side graduate and now playing at Waynesburg University.
Waynesburg plays Thomas More tomorrow at John F. Wiley Stadium. Thomas More nationally ranked in Division III football, a school that Joe and I go to currently, as Anderson will throw to the left side, complete on the slant pattern to Alex Bianco, and Bianco is brought down by Joey Diven at the 13, make that the 18-yard line, as Hampton will send out the field goal unit, looking to put up more points, looking to put up points for Hampton, as they have not been shut out since week 0 whenever they played the Mars Planets. West Allegheny has pitched 4 shutouts out of 6 games. Carlos Norman comes on late, as Morling will attempt the 35-yard field goal, and the kick will split the uprights, and Hampton is on the board.
And that is big for Hampton, as it might sound silly, but an 0-6 team going against a West Allegheny team that has pitched 4 shutouts and almost pitched a 5th one against Upper St. Clair last week. Just getting on the board could go a long way in boosting the morale of an 0-6 Hampton Talbots team.
Hampton has not been shut out by an Allegheny 19. That streak will continue after tonight's game, as Hampton will be kicking off to the West Allegheny Indians. They trail 10-3 to the Indians. 10:31 left to play in the second quarter.
It's getting those first points off the board is a small monkey, but a monkey nonetheless off the back of the Hampton Talbots. So let's see if their defense can carry over that energy.
As West Allegheny will take the field, their special teams unit already ran a kick back for a touchdown. Kenny White on the opening kickoff with a 99-yard gallop on the very first play of the game. As Hampton will be set to kick it away shortly, Sam Worling will do the honors. Kenny White, Brandon Lipford back deep. Lipford and White very close. They are two of the more prominent athletes here at West Allegheny. They both played basketball as well. As Sam Worling will get set to kick it away.
And Hampton has to be wary because both White and Lipford can do serious damage on special teams.
As Worling will kick it away, and the opportunity will be given to nobody as the kick will go into the end zone for a touchback. Great kick by Worling, forcing West Allegheny to not be able to do anything with the kick this time. So now West Allegheny pinned back to their own 20-yard line to start this offensive drive, 1st and 10.
That's what Hampton wanted. Keep the ball out of the hands of the men who could possibly take a kick return to the house.
That would be very bad for the morale of Hampton, knowing they just broke up West Allegheny's 5th shutout already. Putting up 3 points against West Allegheny is a feat in itself. As the Indians will have Nick Ross in the shotgun, Takis to his left, and Kenny White, the running back, in the backfield, and he will give to White. He has a hole, makes some men miss at the 20, tries to bounce it to the outside, gets a block from Lipford, as he will be ran out of bounds by Michael Yakic along that near boundary at the 31-yard line. And it looks like it will be enough for another West Allegheny 1st down. And again, the Indians offense bringing the hammer down against this Hampton defense. The Talbot's defense has not been able to get off the field in recent games. Last week they fell 41-7 against Fox Chapel, and in that game they gave up over 400 yards to the Fox Chapel rushing attack.
Hampton's run defense has not been a strong suit, as it is the lowest rated run defense in the Allegheny 9 Conference.
Nick Ross in the shotgun again, same formation as the previous play, with Kenny White in the backfield, Takis to his left, and he'll give is to White again, and he will trundle his way forward to the 35-yard line, where he'll be brought down by Jack Bish at the 35. Call it a gain of 4 for a 2nd down and 6.
Yes, and we know Kenny White is explosive, as evidenced by both the first offensive play last week and that opening kickoff return here tonight. But he is also a very versatile running back. He can get a few yards if you need him to. He can run a defender over if you need him to. He is able to add a lot of elements to this West Allegheny attack.
White is now at about 480 yards rushing on the season. As Ross will send a man in motion, going from left to right is Connor Johnson. And Ross will throw the ball to his right, and it will be picked off by Alex Bianco. Intended for Brandon Lipford. Bianco was able to step in front of that pass and had a wide open lane, but could not keep his feet in bounds. So Hampton has the ball again. 1st down and 10 from the 34-yard line.
Just a great play by Bianco. We mentioned what he can do on offense, but he has some defensive abilities as well. And all of a sudden, what looked to be the beginning of a blowout, Hampton is now in position to possibly tie this football game.
Hampton has been able to keep several games close, specifically in that first half, and they are reeling after a 41-7 loss to Fox Chapel and are taking their frustrations out against a very potent West Allegheny defense. Anderson under center, jumbo formation to his right. Bianco will take the misdirection and fight his way forward down to the 29-yard line, where he'll be brought down by Anthony Delavade and Kieran Fearman, as we do have a West Allegheny Indian down on the far hash mark at the 33-yard line.
Gain of about 5 on the play.
And if you're West Allegheny, you can't afford many other injuries, as already they are missing Joe Glusman and Nick Kadlesic, their starting offensive tackle linebacker, and Kadlesic is their starting in the secondary So you really can't afford any more injuries for West Allegheny.
Yes, both Glusman and Catalytic, and it looks like that is number 27, Cameron Cornell, another senior leader, as are Glusman and Catalytic. So injuries happen in football, but you hate to see players get hurt, first for their own safety, and secondly for what it could do in depleting the team.
Cornell looks like will be able to walk off the field on his own power. Cornell has had a tremendous senior season. He's been a 2-year starter for this West Allegheny team. Didn't see a whole lot of the field his freshman and sophomore years due to the stout linebacking core, arguably the best in West Allegheny history. I'm talking about the core of Chase Dillon, Armand Delave, Torrey Delmonico, amongst others, and Sean Orsini, who are all playing Division I football as we speak. Orsini is at St. Francis, Delave at Youngstown State, Torrey Delmonico at Navy.
And Torrey Delmonico was also a standout at the running back position in his 4 years at West Allegheny.
Ross Anderson under center, jumbo formation to his right again. Bianco in the backfield as the West Allegheny defense will jump off sides. It looks like from up here, West Allegheny's arguing that a Hampton Talbot did move, and we will have a conclave amongst the officials at the spot of the ball, and the call will come in, and it will be a false start against Hampton. So that was my fault there for accusing West Allegheny of jumping off sides, as Hampton will be backed up to the original line of scrimmage, negating the 5-yard run on the previous play by Bianco, and that'll bring up a 2nd down and 10.
You can't have things like this if you're Hampton. Trying to pull off an upset or at least compete with this West Allegheny team. They had the momentum deep in West Allegheny territory, and that just set them back, and they cannot let that happen.
Anderson in the shotgun. 2 receivers to his left, 3 to his right, calling plays out to his wide receiving core. Among them is Alex Bianco, and the snap goes over Anderson's head. Anderson will have to trot back into his own territory to pick the ball up at his own 45-yard line. That'll be a loss of about 21 yards. And the Talbots will have a 3rd down and 31 to contend with.
Right after I mentioned that Hampton cannot afford to make mistakes, they just make a huge one. And that takes them out of West Allegheny territory, well, keeps them in West Allegheny territory, but now not only are they not in prime position to tie this ball game, they are out of field goal range, facing a 3rd and long. So just a disastrous turn of events.
Anderson now at negative 25 yards plus rushing on the year after, or on this game, I should say, after he corrals the fumble at his own 45. They'll have 3rd and very long, as the handoff will go to Bianco. 3rd and 31, a run play is called. Bianco fights his way forward, gets maybe 10 on the play as he's brought down by a host of West Allegheny Indians, and it looks like we do have another injured Indian down along the far side of the field. Looks from up here that is Matt Holmes. We do not want to speculate, as Holmes very upset right now. As you get a look right now of the stadium here at Joe P. D. McCullough Stadium on the campus of West Allegheny High School, the home of Bob Palco's West Allegheny football team. Palco has been with the team head coaching since 1995, and out of his years here at West Allegheny, he has only missed the playoffs 3 times. And out of those 3 times, 2 of them came in his first 2 years. The first year that he made the playoffs, they won the WPIAL championship in 1997, defeating Brownsville by a final score of 51-24.
Yes, and you mentioned the first 2 missed playoffs were in 1995 1996, Palco's first 2 years. The most recent occurrence in which the WPIAL playoffs did not involve the West Allegheny Indians took place in 2008. West Allegheny had a strong season going 6-3, but had the misfortune of playing in what was back then a brutal Parkway Conference and lost to Montour on the road in the last game of the season, eliminating them from playoff competitions. They're just, as you see, looks like number 14,
that was Joey Diven.
Joey Diven walking off the field.
All I saw from here was the 4 and a little straight line. Couldn't tell if it was a 5 or a 1 from up here, but now we got the correct call. Joey Diven was the injured West Allegheny player instead of Matt Holmes. So now after the 10-yard gain, Hampton still will have a 4th down and long. Sam Worling will punt. Brandon Lipford back deep to receive. Hampton already attempted and succeeded on a fake punt. And Hampton, or West Allegheny, has got to be on the lookout for the same result as Sam Worling will lay into this punt. No fake punt is called as Lipford will take the ball at his own 13-yard line, looking to make some magic happen. He finds a crease, weaves his way through traffic as there's a flag down behind the play. As Lipford has one man to beat, make that two at the 25, the 20. Lipford breaks a tackle at the 10, and he will waltz into the end zone for a touchdown. However, we have two flags down behind the play, one at the 20-yard line and one at the 45-yard line. As you see on the replay there, Lipford breaking tackles, and it looks like Lipford may have a third special teams touchdown on the year called back, as we have another West Allegheny player down on the far hash marks. And that is Mitchell Fullard, number 59, who has gotten significant playing time in his senior season. And it's very unfortunate for someone like Fullard, who hasn't seen a whole lot of playing time in his first 3 years, gets a chance his senior year, he has made an impact. However, Fullard is now injured on the play, as we do have a penalty called against West Allegheny. Two of them, one of them is declined. There is a block in the back called against the Indians. They will maintain possession and will have the ball 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line, as Fuller is able to walk off the field with his own power. As West Allegheny, their numbers are getting depleted one by one. You got players going down one by one. And if you're West Allegheny, you can't afford anybody else to go down.
Yes, the previous two, Cornell and Divin, were at least able to walk off under their own power, but that is not a good sign as Mitch Fullard is being helped off the field. Fullard and Brendan Simmons are two examples of seniors that are stepping up as upperclassmen in 2016, so all we can do is hope for the best as far as the medical status of Mitchell Fullard.
Very upsetting to see Mitchell Fullard go down like that, as Divin is also on the training table right now being attended to by the athletic training team. He will make room now for Fullard as we resume play. West Allegheny has 1st down and 10 from their own 15-yard line. 7:07 left to play in the half. Ross in the shotgun will hand off to his running back, Kenny White, who bounced a tackle. He tries to bounce it to the right hand or the left-hand side, and he will drag a Hampton Talbot with him out of bounds. It's Max Obenrader, as we do have a flag thrown after the play finished. Kenny White and Ross Anderson were getting into it along the sideline. Kenny White looked like he did grab Anderson there by the jersey. Mateo Van Dame is able to restrain White, calm him down at least a little bit, as we do have a personal foul called against the Talbots for unnecessary roughness. So it will be an extra 15 yards tacked onto the run. And West Allegheny will have now a 1st and 10 from their own 46.
Yes, and Kenny White showing off his physical nature. He's known primarily as more of a skilled back, but he is very physical as well. And for Hampton, another unfortunate penalty, and they are making too many mistakes to have a chance to compete in this game right now. Not a good sight for Coach Giacomario.
A sloppy game really played by both teams, as West Allegheny has let some opportunities go against the Talbots, as they have 1st and 10 from their own 46-yard line. Kenny White has a crease at the 45, trips, and he will stay on his feet. 25-20, and he'll be ran out of bounds there by Tyler Steedle. White goes running into the West Allegheny side, or the student section, but there is another flag thrown down in the middle of the field at the 46-yard line. Again, the sloppy play continues by both sides. This time, a penalty may be committed on the play.
At the 11, however, there is a flag.
This might be coming back, but Kenny White is really showing off his abilities in this ball game.
It's unfortunate for someone like Kenny White, but we do have a flag. It looks like it was called against the Talbots.
Yes, Coach Mario has to be fuming at the penalties committed by, it looks like that was called against West Allegheny.
We have offsetting penalties.
We had offsetting penalties. I did not see the West Allegheny penalty called. I saw the one against the Talbots, but nonetheless, no play occurred there. So Kenny White, his 43-yard run down to the 11 was negated, and will retry 1st and 10 from their own 46 Nick Ross in the shotgun again. White in his backfield with a fullback to his right. Correction, that's Brandon Lifford in the backfield. And he'll be sent in motion. Handoff taken by Cameron Cornell. He is brought down immediately in the backfield by Billy Geis. And Geis, one of the senior leaders for this Hampton team, makes an impact for the Talbots.
Yeah, he's a big boy. Billy Geis, number 69, his senior captain, never gives Cam Cornell much of a chance to do anything and throws him down for a 3-yard loss.
6'3", 260 pounds is Billy Geis, throwing Cam Cornell down at his own 43-yard line for a loss of 3. As West Allegheny will have 2nd down and 13 to contend with, looking for a pass here as Ross is in the shotgun with a running back to his right. And Ross will throw the pass. No, he will fake it, and it will be caught by diving Brandon Lifford. And it looks like we're going to have a late flag called for a late hit against the Talbots. Lifford was sliding down onto the turf whenever the play happened, and then the Hampton Talbot defenseman came in and hit Lifford. As you see on the replay, Lifford makes the catch, is on the ground, play is blown dead as Ross Anderson comes in and hits Lifford late. No, we have an illegal man downfield called against West Allegheny. So instead of the late hit called against the Talbots, West Allegheny moving backwards again. Sloppy play by the Indians.
Yeah, Coach Palco and really the whole West Allegheny coaching staff cannot be pleased. They preach fundamental football, and neither coach is getting their wish in solid fundamentals right now.
So now it'll be 2nd down and about 18 yards to go from their own 38-yard line. The Indians have committed numerous penalties as Ross is in the shotgun, running back Cornell to his right. And Ross will throw a long ball to Lifford, and Lifford will drop the ball as he had a wide open man in Lifford, could not corral the pass in, got past his defenseman Obenrader, as you see on the replay. Lifford was able to get in front of Obenrader, and he just could not make the catch. Even if it was going to be called a fumble, luckily for Lifford, it did go out of bounds, so it will stay incomplete. 3rd down and 18.
Yes, that is a rough few minutes for Brandon Lifford. First, he has a great return that gets called back for a penalty, and then he drops a ball that should have been caught and would have been a big 1st down gain for West A.
If you're Coach Bob Palco, you cannot be pleased right now by the numerous mistakes committed by West Allegheny, both with penalties and really just sloppy play right now versus this Hampton Talbot team, who is in the bottom of the conference, as we have a new receiver in Isaiah Crow, as Bob Palco looks like will call a timeout. 5:51 showing on the first half clock, and they lead the Hampton Talbots 10-3.
Yeah, in this stretch of poor fundamental play from West Allegheny, it's really concerning considering next week they will be on the road against one of the Whitfield's toughest teams in Woodland Hills. So this has to be an alarming sign that hopefully will be calmed down for West Allegheny as this game rolls along.
Woodland Hills leads the Allegheny 9 in forced turnovers. Through week 6, they have forced 16 turnovers. And if you count week 0, they forced 21. And they're going against some stiff competition. However, the Wolverines have not played West Allegheny. They have not played Upper St. Clair. This week they are at Moon, as West Allegheny will get back into the action. 3rd and long from the 38-yard line. Ross in the shotgun. Cornell dotting the I as the play comes in from Bob Palco and his coaching staff. As Ross able to get the audible in, Ross will. And another timeout will be burned by West Allegheny. So Hampton has got West Allegheny scratching their heads right now, and the Indians have had to burn 2 timeouts in a span of 11 seconds.
You have to give Hampton credit. They came in here 0-6 going against a great West Allegheny team, as we have mentioned before. They have not played a clean football game like West Allegheny. They have been committing some bad penalties. They have not played the best fundamental football, but yet they find themselves half of the second quarter gone by, 5:40 till halftime, only down by a touchdown.
We also are on Facebook.
Looking ahead to West Allegheny's schedule next week, as you mentioned, they're at the Wolverina, where they take on the Woodland Hills Wolverines. This is the third all-time matchup coming up between Woodland Hills next week at the Wolverina. Both teams have split a pair of non-conference games in 2014, my senior year. Arguably one of the greatest games I've ever been a part of. West Allegheny came away with a thrilling 42-41 overtime win over the Wolverines, and then last year at the Wolverina, the Indians could not stop Miles Sanders, now one of the running backs at Penn State. Woodland Hills won that game 22-15, and we have another stoppage of play and a timeout now called by Hampton. 3 timeouts combined by both teams in 11 seconds. And also in Week 9, West Allegheny will play host to their crosstown rivals, the Moon Tigers. One of the remaining rivalries, I should say, that West Allegheny has maintained in the Moon Tigers. They've only maintained 2, maybe 3 if you consider Woodland Hills a rivalry. But now with the new classification, the new shakeup, West Allegheny playing all new teams really for the first time.
Yeah, one of the tough things about the conference realignment that was announced in October of 2015 is the fact that these rivalries are now no longer in existence. West A and Montour was a notable example of a rivalry that is now no longer supported by conferences. But hopefully with this new Allegheny 9 conference, with Woodland Hills, Upper St. Clair, maybe even North Hills, hopefully West A can create some new rivalries in addition to Moon and Chartiers Valley.
So now let's hope for not a 4th timeout, but instead a play is actually called, and looks like we will have a play. Nick Ross takes the snap, looking, and he throws to a wide-open Brandon Lipford. Lipford will have the first down, tries to spin away from some tacklers at the 35, and he will drag the Hampton Talbot pile down to the 32-yard line. A late flag is thrown on the play, as that pass is going to be good for about 30 yards from Nick Ross to Brandon Lipford. Lipford leads the team in receiving touchdowns with 3. As we'll wait and see what the call is from the refereeing crew.
Yes, as you just saw in the replay, Lipford runs a slant route for a big gain, and for now a West Allegheny first down, but let's see what the ruling is.
And the call is going to be a personal foul against West Allegheny. Another foul committed by the Indians. Luckily, however, for West Allegheny, they will have a first down and 10. But instead of being 32 yards away from the end zone, they are now 47 yards away.
Yes, and knowing Bob Palco, I do not think it is going to be a pleasant locker room talk at halftime.
There always seems to be that one game every year where Bob Palco is not very happy at halftime, to say the least. You know, my senior year was the Hopewell game. They won 56-7, but they were really playing sloppy football. Last year it was at Blackhawk in Week 6 in the cold, wet, rainy Northwestern Stadium in Darlington, PA. And this week looks like it could be the Hampton Talbots in Week 7, as Mike Clarkin goes in motion from left to right, now yo-yoing back to his side. Kenny White will take the direct snap along the left-hand side, trying to spin away from some tacklers, but he'll be brought down in the backfield by Michael Hoffner. So Hampton's able to play some stingy defense of their own, forcing a 9-yard loss on Kenny White. As you look ahead to the games being played throughout Week 8 or Week 7, the Fox Chapel Foxes are at the Baldwin Highlanders. Chartiers Valley playing at North Hills. Pretty much whoever wins that game is expected to be the 4th and final team out of the Allegheny 9 to make the playoffs. And then finally, as we mentioned before, the Woodland Hills Wolverines are at the Moon Tigers in this Allegheny 9 conference matchups. The Upper St. Clair Panthers are out of conference tonight. They play host to the McKeesport Tigers, as Ross will take the snap and throw it to his right, well short of his intended receiver, Mateo Vandamia, bringing up a 3rd down and 19.
And that is a miscommunication between a quarterback and a wide receiver. Vandalia was not looking in the right direction of the ball as Ross was throwing it, and as a result, it ends up in an incompletion in a 3rd and long situation for West Allegheny.
The ball was well behind Vandalia on the play and well short of him as well. As you said, the miscommunication on the play leads to a 3rd down and 19 for the Indians. 4:18 left to play in the first half. As you take a look at the season stats, they've had more passing yards than rushing yards on the year, which is quite unusual for a Bob Palco squad. But Nick Ross, an outstanding senior season, getting it done through the air. As he will go to the air yet again, Nick Ross will scramble to his right-hand side and trying to look for the open man, lobs one down, and will just throw it incomplete, leading to a 4th down and long for West Allegheny. And Hampton being able to put pressure on this Indian team and forcing West Allegheny into a wall.
And West Allegheny's offensive line coach, Ed Marcellus, cannot be happy with that play. The line did not give Nick Ross a lot of time to work with, and as a result, you see him flush in the pocket and being forced to throw the ball out of bounds as the Indians, again, are forced to punt.
DJ Upsatnik will do the punting honors. Been the 4-year starting kicker, but this is his first year starting as the punter and has done a phenomenal job as the punter. As the snap is taken by Upsatnik, he will lay into this punt. It is a boomer down to the 22-yard line. And we do have a flag thrown as a fair catch was called by Tyler Steedle. Looks like a West Allegheny player may have ran into Steedle as he was calling the fair catch, which would be a penalty. But we'll wait and see what the call is from this referee crew.
And Bob Palco's blood pressure must be rising by the minute.
Coming up next, we have the marching band halftime show being performed by the West Allegheny Marching Band. Be sure to stick around for that, as we'll have a conclave now amongst all 6 of the officials here at tonight's game at Joe P. DeMcCullough Stadium on the campus of West Allegheny High School in Imperial, Pennsylvania.
You talked earlier about DJ Upsetnik. His coming out party of sorts was in West Allegheny's last WPIAL championship win, a 16-6 triumph over Central Valley. Upsetnik was arguably the most valuable player for the Indians in that game, nailing 3 field goals as well as an extra point. So DJ has been a rock in the Indian special team unit ran by Jeff Martin ever since he's been a freshman in 2013.
And in that game, Upsatnik single-handedly pretty much gave West Allegheny the victory, scoring 10 points, and there was a 10-point deficit between the Indians and the Warriors in that 2013 WPIAL championship game. So the only years on this team being WPIAL champions are the seniors. They won it their freshman year 3 years ago in 2013, which were captained by arguably some of the best senior leaders in West Allegheny history: Torrey Delmonico, Jake Johnson, Nick Daigle, Dustin Peluso. And the following year, they could have been better. However, the problem was they ran into an even better Central Valley team that they ran into a wall with Jordan Whitehead, who now plays at Pitt. And because of that, West Allegheny was unable to come away with the victory. Upsatnik did have a hand in that game as well, as the flag is going to be marched against West Allegheny on that fair catch for that West Allegheny contact on the Hampton Talbot fair catch caller or punt receiver. And Upsatnik in that game, there was a tie ball game in the 3rd quarter. I remember it clearly. Could have taken the lead. Central Valley blocked the field goal. The Warriors took it over, and in a span of one play was the infamous Jordan Whitehead play, making multiple Indians miss en route to a touchdown.
Just one of many infamous Jordan Whitehead plays.
1st and 10 from the 37-yard line. Handoff goes to Alex Bianco for the Hampton Talbots as we resume live action. He'll be brought down on the play by Mikey Clarkin, number 34. For a pick of about 2 down to the near hash 39-yard line for a 2nd down and 8.
This is a huge possession for Hampton, as it is likely their last possession of the first half, and they will get the ball to start the second half as West Allegheny received to start the game. But if Hampton can get a field goal or even tie it up, that would do wonders for them going into that locker room.
Well, really for Hampton, you're looking for a very successful drive to put West Allegheny on their toes defensively to come out in the second half and take advantage. Alex Bianco out of the Wildcat finds a crease, and it gets quickly closed up, brought down on the play by Matt Holmes and Mikey Clarkin at the 42-yard line amongst others, as it looks like we have yet maybe another play or flag, and we do, down at the 38-yard line in the middle of the field. This game has been riddled with penalties, most of them being committed by West Allegheny. And if you're a championship team, as that one will go against Hampton, it'll be a personal foul against the Talbots.
Personal foul will be called against the Talbots.
It'll be marched 15 yards from the spot of the penalty, putting them back at the 27-yard line. It'll be second down and long.
Yes, frustrating penalty for Hampton, but I like the way their offense is operating and how they mix up their formations. We've seen Bianco in the Wildcat, we have seen Ross Anderson in the shotgun, and we've seen Bianco in the backfield as well, with Anderson setting up under center. So the Talbots are really mixing things up to try to keep this West Allegheny defense guessing.
Correction, it is a loss of down on the personal foul. It'll be third down and very long for the Hampton Talbots. Bianco with the Wildcat yet again, trying to bounce it, has some greenery as he'll be met on the play, and driving forward is Bianco down to the 31-yard line. Anthony Delavade and Logan Malatak in on the stop. Malatak, same story as Connor Johnson, a late player on the team, joined late within week 3, and Malatak and Connor Johnson have made an immediate impact on this West Allegheny team, as Hampton will have a 4th down and 16 from their own 31. Lipford will go back deep to receive yet again, but if you're West Allegheny, you might want to be on the lookout for another fake punt, assuming that the Talbots will decide to punt. Sam Whirling is out right now for Hampton. He is their kicker and their punter. Lipford already had a punt touchdown called back, as we will have a timeout called by Hampton as they run the play clock down all the way before calling the timeout. 1:58 showing on the clock in the first half.
Yes, and this possession is crucial for West Allegheny, as it will very likely be their last chance to distance themselves from Hampton before they go into that locker room. I believe that Coach Palco, as well as Coach Cornell, Coach Davis, the rest of the West Allegheny coaching staff, will not be too pleased with how this first half has transpired thus far. But you would like to see West Allegheny get some points on the board to go into the locker room with their heads held a little higher.
As you take a look from stats from last week, Nick Ross had an outstanding game against the Upper St. Clair Panthers. He completed 8 passes out of 16 attempts for 186 yards. His longest pass went for a 75-yard touchdown to Connor Johnson. His only reception of the game last week for Johnson. And as West Allegheny steamrolled over the formerly #1 team in the Allegheny 9, the Upper St. Clair Panthers, 33-7. As Sam Whirling on the punt, Brandon Lipford back deep to receive. Hampton tried a fake punt, and they're not going to try again, as Whirling will punt this one to the far side. Jeff Martin calling Lipford to come away from the ball, but Lipford scoops it up at the 29-yard line, makes a man miss. Cuts it down to the middle of the field, weaves through traffic. He's down to the 40-yard line, where he'll be brought down by a slew of Talbots. Down at the 40-yard line, among them was Michael Yakic, as West Allegheny will have 1st and 10 from their own 39-yard line, looking to go up by 2 scores before halftime.
Yes, you see Nick Ross there. Nick Ross is on the sidelines. He has an admirable story. He debuted it as a starting quarterback for the West Allegheny Indians in 2015, replacing Andrew Kessler, who appeared in 3 and won 2 Whitfield championships. So let's hope Ross can keep it going and lead the Indians on what would be a much-needed scoring drive here to close the first half.
1:42 left to do so, as Ross will hand off to Kenny White. He makes a man miss, and he will be brought down on the play by Doug Omenrader, and we do have a late flag called at the end of the play as Billy Geis and Matt Holmes were getting into it. Geis slammed Holmes to the ground. Maybe a foul against Hampton on the late flag, but either way, it'll be a 2-yard pickup, as the personal foul will be called against Billy Geist and the Talbots 15 yards from the spot, giving West Allegheny a free first down. And if you're Bob Palco, I mean, you'll take it. 135 to go up by 2 touchdowns, and Hampton's giving you free yardage. I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah, and from a Hampton perspective, again, very frustrating to see. Billy Geist is a senior leader. It's been a force on the Hampton D-line, but not a smart play from the captain.
1st and 10 from the Hampton 44-yard line. Nick Ross in the shotgun. He will pass and throw that ball to his receiver, Mateo Vandamia. Vandamia trying to get out to the first down marker. He will be very close to that mark as Bianco slams him to the turf at the 35-yard line. They're going to mark him a yard short as West Allegheny will burn its 3rd and final timeout. 1:17 left to play in the first half.
Yes, earlier Ross and Vandamia had a miscommunication. That was not the case here. It was a play-action play. Perfect blocking from the offensive line. Ross had a lot of time to find Vandamia and get very close to a first down marker with 1:17 left in the first half.
As in this first half, West Allegheny up 10-3, but the Indians have had multiple mistakes with lots of penalties being committed by West Allegheny, both offensively and defensively, specifically personal fouls, 15-yard penalties being called against West Allegheny that has really hurt drives. Hampton not been able to capitalize as the lone 3 points came off of plays such as the fake punts early on in the first quarter. And if you're head coach Bob Palco, you just want to clean up the mistakes in the second half and pretty much forget about this first half despite winning in the first 24 minutes of play. 1st and 10 from the 34-yard line as Mateo Vandamia was able to pick up the first down on that last play. Nick Ross in the shotgun. He will throw the ball to Connor Johnson. Johnson weaves his way through traffic, will get the 1st and more down to the 19-yard line. So they're now inside the 20-yard line for the first time here tonight. Make that the second time. Indians have 1st and 10. No huddle being called by Coach Bob Palco. Ross will have 1st and 10 at the 19. He will go in the shotgun formation. Cornell now to his left. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right in Lipford. And Ross looking to the left the whole way. And he will throw that ball complete to Vandamia. And he is met immediately by Doug Obenrader down to the 14-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 5, 2nd down and 5. As it looks like we have an injured Hampton Talbot down, which stops the clock at 49 ticks the talk in the first half.
Yes, the Indians are still having the mindset of wearing down Hampton's defense, but now they're doing it through the air and not the ground due to 49 seconds being left on the clock. Not a lot of time. They need to score fast.
2nd down and 5 from the 14-yard line for West Allegheny. 49 seconds showing on the clock. The clock is now winding. Ross in the shotgun. Lifford to his left. Vandamia, Colby Stout, and Connor Johnson to his right. As Ross will tuck it and run. He finds a crease. He's at the 10, bounces to the outside of the 5, and Ross is going to be marked out of bounds at the 1-yard line. A good recognition there by Nick Ross, finding no open man. He had all kinds of room right in front of him, and he was able to make something out of nothing. It's now 1st down and goal from the 1.
Yeah, and credit to Cameron Cornell for throwing a great block there, helping out Nick Ross get to virtually the 1-inch line, and hopefully West Allegheny is able to take advantage of this and get some much-needed momentum back.
1st down and 3 feet away from the end zone for the West Allegheny Indians. Looking to go up by 2 scores with 30 seconds left in the first half clock. Kenny White will go in the Wildcat formation. Todd gets to his right, and White will take the direct snap, and White will fall forward, and White is in for the West Allegheny touchdown. Kenny White scores his 2nd touchdown of the day, one being special teams and that one being an offensive touchdown. That's his 10th total touchdown of the season as White goes in from a yard out.
Yes, he scored 1 on special teams. He scored 1 running the ball. Now let's look to see if maybe later in this game Kenny White throws the touchdown passes. He has shown the ability to throw the football well, so let's see if he can add more to his versatility.
DJ Absatnik on to attempt the extra point. Nick Ross the hold, as we're going to have A good snap, good hold, good kick. And that one splits the upright. So with 23 seconds left showing on the clock, West Allegheny assumes a 17-3 lead over the winless Hampton Talbots. Very sloppy first half played by the Talbots of Hampton and the Indians of West Allegheny. Numerous penalties being thrown on both teams, as West Allegheny has had more penalties called against them. Lots of miscommunications, lots of missed opportunities in a mistake-ridden first half.
Yes, Bob Palco has always preached fundamental football, doing the little things well and having the big things take care of themselves. That has not been happening. West A has not been doing the little things well. They are ahead 17-3, but in order for bigger things to happen, they're going to need to clean up their act and play a much smoother, much easier to watch style of football with less yellow laundry on the field.
And you gotta hope that they won't play like this next week whenever they go to the Wolverine to take on Woodland Hills. Woodland Hills at home, one of the most dominant teams in the entire state. That Wolverine, now a lot of people may not be impressed with it once you go there, but believe me when I say it's a home field advantage for sure for Woodland Hills.
Absolutely. George Novak has built up that program. They are one of the titans of the WPIAL, and next week will be a battle.
DJ Upsatnik will kick off. Back deep, Alex Bianco, Tyler Steedle. As Upsatnik will kick a pooch kick down to the right-hand side. It'll be fielded by a Hampton Talbot up man, and nearly squirming free, but being brought down to the 30-yard line is that Hampton Talbot up man, as he is brought down on the play by West Allegheny at the 31-yard line. Making the stop is Logan Scheider. Yet another case of a player joining the team late in week 3, Scheider joined the team during training camp, as it looks like Hampton is going to take a knee and take this 17-3 deficit into the half. They will get the ball to start the second half, remember, as Hampton will look to upend the #1 team in 5A in the WPIAL in the West Allegheny Indians. Right now, the West Allegheny Indians lead the Hampton Talbots at the end of 24 minutes of play by a score of 7-3, and a very sloppy first half comes to an end.
Yeah, both teams can only hope to clean up their act in the second half and not have as many penalties. And if Hampton's going to get beat, they cannot beat themselves. They need to play as well as they can play to have a chance against this West Allegheny team.
Score at halftime, 17-3, West Allegheny over Hampton. Coming up next is going to be the West Allegheny Marching Band. As stay tuned for that performance by the Marching Band as you're watching the West Allegheny Sports Network.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2016 West Allegheny Marching Pride Halftime Show. The band is under the field leadership of seniors Madison Heidenreich and Sean Hall. Our show theme this year is Piano Men. We will perform Elton John's hits, Funeral for a Friend, Your Song, and Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, as well as Billy Joel's hits, My Life, Only the Good Die Young, We Didn't Start the Fire, and Piano Man. Sit back, relax, and enjoy our show, Piano Men, as we open with Elton John's Funeral for a Friend. Our next song was released as a single from Elton John's 1973 studio album, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Ladies and gentlemen, Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. Our next song was originally released in 1971 and features horn players Katie Borgo, Abby Leslie, and Emma Columbia. Ladies and gentlemen, your song. We will close this evening's show with an arrangement that includes two of Billy Joel's hits, My Life and Only the Good Die Young, featuring Cress Oliver on tenor saxophone. Coming off the field, we will play for you We Didn't Start the Fire and Piano Man. Marching Pride is under the direction of TJ Fox. We would also like to thank Al Cagini, Lou Didio, Steve Groba, Larry Gubash, Sue Hall, Joe Seibel, Elena Smith, Ray Haim, and Alan Yoder, as well as Deborah Heil for their dedication to the band. We hope you've enjoyed our show. Enjoy the second half of the game.
But a nice hand for that halftime show put on by the West Allegheny Marching Pride. Okay, it's time to call out the winning number for the 50-50 raffle. 50-50 raffle sponsored by the West Allegheny Boosters Club. So if you have your tickets, first of all, if you have a yellow ticket, you can win $651. The winning ticket number, the yellow ticket, 840-084. 840-084.
Welcome back to Joe P. D. McCullough Stadium for this Week 7 5A matchup between the West Allegheny Indians and the Hampton Talbots. The score at halftime right now is 17-3 in favor of West Allegheny. I'm Brandon Rosside, joined alongside Joe Smeltzer. And Joe, a mistake-riddled first half by West Allegheny. The number one team in 5A, they sure didn't look like it in the first half.
Not at all. Very ugly game to watch. You would think that West A would have an easier time handling this Hampton team that is 0-6, but they are not doing that right now. Yeah, they're ahead by 2 touchdowns, but several dumb penalties, not good fundamental football, and Bob Palco and the rest of the West A coaching staff, as well as the players, want desperately to clean this up in the second half.
And also give credit to the Talbot team for showing up to play against the number one team in 5A by most recollections, as Hampton only trails 17-3. They have already broken up a West Allegheny shutouts. So out of 7 games, West Allegheny will have 4 shutouts. The only teams to not be shut out by West Allegheny, North Hills, Upper St. Clair, and now Hampton. So Hampton being one of those teams that have not been shut out by West Allegheny, and now looking around the Allegheny 9 Conference, some other scores, very low-scoring first halves around the Allegheny 9. This is actually the highest scoring matchup out of any game in the Allegheny 9 Conference. The biggest shocker, the Woodland Hills Wolverines are at the Moon Tigers. Their score at halftime is Moon 10, Woodland Hills 7. So West Allegheny is not the only team that is struggling. They are winning 17-3, but Woodland Hills is losing to Moon, and a Moon team that is very similar to Hampton, and that their defense struggles. The only difference is Moon's more of a passing team.
Yes, and West Allegheny and Woodland Hills will face off next week at Woodland Hills' famous Wolverina. Both of those teams are powers in the WPIAL. Both are at the top of this new Allegheny 9 conference. Neither team is doing anything to boost their own morale and their own confidence in the first half here in Week 7.
Only a couple other scores going on around the Allegheny 9. We do not have a score update from the Baldwin-Fox Chapel game. And also we have a score update from the Chartiers Valley North Hills game, and the score is non-existent. through the first half, there is no score between the Colts and the Indians. You got to believe that the winner of that matchup will clinch the 4th and final playoff spot in the Allegheny 9 heading into the 5A WPIAL playoffs, with the top 3 teams being, in no order as of right now, West Allegheny, Upper St. Clair, Woodland Hills, and like we said, that 4th spot really up for grabs.
Yes, very up for grabs. West Allegheny has played both North Hills and Char Valley, defeating Char Valley by a score of 14-0 and North Hills by a score of 24-16. So it'll be interesting to see if any team is, 1, able to score, and 2, what team will come on top in this Week 7 matchup. Crucial to see who will get that number 4 playoff spot out of the Allegheny 9 conference.
And the final score update we have is a non-conference game between the Upper St. Clair Panthers and the McKeesport Tigers. It's kind of like a version of West A Woodland Hills for the last couple of years. Not very big in terms of where both teams will fall in their respective standings, but in terms of playoff seeding, it's huge. And in that game, Upper St. Clair leads 14-7. Halftime has not elapsed thus far in that game, but the Panthers up on the McKeesport Tigers after an abysmal showing against West Allegheny.
Yes, it is not a conference game, but Jim Render definitely wants his squad to bounce back from last week's dismal showing, as you said, at home against West Allegheny. It is a clash of the Titans and the Whippeal. Although it is non-conference, it is still great for the Whippeal and great for fans of Western Pennsylvania football to watch.
And looking ahead at both West Allegheny and Hampton's schedule, first we're going to start with the Hampton Talbots. Following this game, they will have 2 games remaining. They are 0-7 thus far on the season, including Week 0 when they lost 28-0 to Mars. Without Week 0, they're still winless on the year, 0-6. They have not been shut out in the last 6 weeks, make that 7 after this week. And also, Hampton next week, their schedule does not get any easier because following this game, they will host Upper St. Clair next week, and then to close out the year, they are at North Hills. That is 3 of the top 4 teams in the WPIAL Allegheny 9. Also looking at West Allegheny's schedule for the remainder of the year, as we mentioned numerous times throughout the broadcast, that they will face Woodland Hills this upcoming week at the Wolverina in a highly anticipated matchup. Again, for the 3rd straight year, it's number 1 versus number 2. Well, in this case, it's number 1, number 2. The last 2 years, it was number 1 in AAA, number 1 in Quad A, duking it out. And to finish out the year, West Allegheny will close right here at Joe P.T. McCullough Stadium when they host their crosstown rivals in the Moon Tigers. But that's going to do it for our halftime report. Stay tuned for the second half between the West Allegheny Indians and the Hampton Talbots right here on the West Allegheny Sports Network.
Here at halftime, the Indians, West Allegheny leading the Hampton Talbots 17-3 in the first quarter. On the opening kickoff, Kenny White went 99 yards for a touchdown. The extra point by DJ Sapnick, and then a 29-yard field goal by DJ Sapnick, and then a field goal for Hampton by Sam Worling, and then in the late seconds of the second quarter, Kenny White went in the end zone from 1 yard out with the extra point by Sapnick, and the score here at halftime is West Allegheny 17 and Hampton 3.
We welcome you back to Joe P. DeMcCullough Stadium on the campus of West Allegheny High School, bringing you Week 7 of this Allegheny 9 matchup between the Indians of West Allegheny and the Talbots of Hampton High School. And the score at halftime, 17-3 in favor of your Indians over Hampton. And looking around the WPIAL in terms of scoring, not just in 5A, but in all classifications, I'm just running through some scores thanks to the Twitter page of Whippeal Insider. Please go follow that page if you don't. And if you don't follow him, I don't know what is wrong with you, but you need to follow him. But the Clairton Bears are leading the Leechburg Blue Devils, not by a ludicrous score, but in the third quarter it is 38-0 over Leechburg. At halftime, Riverside is beating Cardinal World North Catholic 21-7. Wash High up over Chartiers Houston 7-6. West Mifflin on top of Ringgold 7-0. And the Central Catholic Vikings, the number one team in the WPIAL by pretty much every recollection, they are leading Altoona 48-0 at halftime. Thomas Jefferson on top of Bell Vernon 27-0. And finally, North Allegheny on top of Seneca Valley by a score of 21-0. Hampton will receive to start the second half, so DJ Upsatnik will kick off, the 4-year starting kicker for West Allegheny. He will boom into this kick, and it'll be taken by Bianco at the 8-yard line. Bianco has a crease on the far side. He's at the 40-yard line, and he'll be brought down right at that 40-yard line by a West Allegheny player. First down and 10 coming up for Hampton. Paul Fedorka, the freshman, bringing him down at the 42-yard line. First and 10, Talbots.
Yes, and Bianco also had a nice kickoff return early in the first quarter. And Hampton, that set up Hampton with good field position, which they were not able to capitalize on. So let's see if they can capitalize this time and make this a game.
First down and 10 for the Talbots at their own 42-yard line. The first half in which they were able to hang in there with West Allegheny despite their first drive ending up in a 3-and-out and a sack. As Anderson will step under center, Bianco in the backfield, jumbo formation to his left. They run into each other, but Bianco will corral the handoff, and he is hit hard by the West Allegheny line. On that far side, making the stop was Mikey Clarkin, making the hard hit at the 42-yard line. It'll be second down and 10 after no gain.
Yeah, Mike Clarkin, another one of those seniors, along with Mitchell Fullard and Brennan Simmons, who is really stepping up as an upperclassman. And it's just a great story how he started from the bottom, and now he is an important part of this West Allegheny defense.
Second down and 10 for the Talbots. Ball spotted at their own 42-yard line, as 50 seconds have elapsed here in this third quarter. West Allegheny sides come out pumped up as Bianco will get the hand. No, it's a fade route from Anderson to his wide receiver, swatted away by the West Allegheny defensive back, Noah Ledford, a junior making the play, getting varsity reps for the first time in his high school career, swatting the pass down from tight end Doug Obenrader. Third down and 10 coming up for Hampton.
And nothing really wrong done here from a Hampton standpoint. It was a great fake. Anderson had all the time. He threw a decent ball, but just a nice play by Noah Ledford, who is looking to make a positive impression on Coach Cornell and hopefully get more reps as the season goes for the West Allegheny defense.
Ledford's had a fabulous junior season here at West Allegheny. Already has a receiving touchdown, that coming in a 31-yard bomb against Baldwin in week 4 from Nick Ross. That game, West Allegheny defeated the Highlanders 43-0. As Bianco will be set in motion, we got a reverse coming. And going around the left side, Michael Yakic to the left-hand side, sheds a tackle from White and tries to outstretch for the first down, but he is brought down at the 50-yard line by Weber and Delavade. And he is 2 yards short of the first down marker, but a good run by Yakic. Good trickery by Hampton, but it will not be enough for the first down.
Yes, but I do like that play call from Hampton again. I like how they have been playing like a team that has nothing to lose, playing very loose, not afraid to take risk, and they're taking another one here by going for it on 4th and 4.
Offense stays on the field for this 4th and 3. Look for Hampton to try to get West Allegheny to jump off sides. If they do so, it will be a first down for Hampton. And Anderson tries the hard count, doesn't work. He will throw the ball, and it will be broken up by Connor Johnson, and another flag comes down. Easy pass interference call against West Allegheny, as that ball was halfway through flight whenever Johnson laid the hit on the intended receiver, Bianco, and it will be a first down and 10 for Hampton.
It's getting so redundant to talk about, but West Allegheny has got to get their heads in the game. They got to stop these penalties, play a cleaner ball game, not make these mistakes, and lower Coach Palco's blood pressure in the process.
1st and 10 coming up for the Talbots. Ball's going to be placed 36 yards away from the end zone. West Allegheny's only given up 3 touchdowns all year. As you look at the 5A Section 1 standings, West Allegheny alone at the top of the standings, 5-0 in conference play, 6-0 overall. Woodland Hills undefeated in conference play, but have lost the game to Penn Trafford. And Upper St. Clair takes 3rd place with a 6-1 or 5-1 overall mark. Going in motion and taking that handoff is Alex Bianco. He goes down the near sideline where he'll be brought down by Kenny White, amongst others. And that'll bring up a 2nd down and short for the Talbots. Again, Hampton wearing down this West Allegheny defense to begin this second half. This is exactly what Hampton wanted coming into the second half.
It is what they wanted, and not a lot of people thought this game would be close, but here is Hampton deep in West State territory looking to cut this game to a touchdown deficit. Very surprising and very frustrating if you're West Allegheny.
2nd down and a long one coming up for Hampton. 10:39 showing on the game clock. As the West Allegheny sideline yelling and barking for their team to make the play. Bianco gets the carry up the middle and runs into a wall. Bringing down that Hampton Talbot running back Bianco is Mikey Clarkin. Clarkin's having a marvelous showing thus far in this game versus Hampton. It's pretty much been his coming out party, as it'll be 3rd down and 1 for the Talbots. Clarkin filling in for the injured Joe Glusman. Glusman will be sitting out for today after being injured last week at Upper St. Clair. Expect him to potentially be in the lineup next week versus Woodland Hills, and Clarkin pretty much doing everything in his power to remain in the starting lineup for next week's game at Woodland Hills.
And you have to believe that should Hampton not get the first down on 3rd and short, that they will go for it on 4th down.
Bianco in the Wildcat, and the Talbot right guard Billy Geis will move, leading to a false start against the Talbots, and their predicament just got a whole lot tougher. A 3rd and 1 where Hampton could have easily just taken a step forward and pretty much gotten the first down. Now they are pushed back 5 yards, and now it's 3rd and 6 for Hampton. Again, very sloppy game by both teams. Hampton's not committed as many fouls as West Allegheny. However, the fouls are still prominent, and the Talbots will contend with a 3rd and 6.
I still believe that this is four down territory, and if Hampton does not convert here, they will go for it on 4th down.
Anderson in the shotgun, 3 receivers to his right, 2 to his left. As you got a corner in Brandon Lipford pressing on the Hampton receiver. And the ball is swatted away there by Will Weber. Good defensive play by Weber coming up and swatting that ball from the flight out of Ross Anderson's grasp, leading to a 4th down and 6 for Hampton.
We'll see this replay here. We have seen Will Weber do this a few times unsuccessfully, but here He bolts like a cannon and is able to knock that pass down. A big play from a big-time player on both sides of the ball.
Weber came in untouched on that play as he blew past the right tackle, Jesse Berzonski. Normally plays defense for the Talbots, but he came in as a right tackle for the Talbots. And again, Anderson has 2 receivers to his left, 3 to his right. On 4th down and 6, they will go for it. Anderson will throw. Weber unsuccessfully swats it away, but it is short anyway of the intended receiver, Bianco, and that'll lead to a turnover on downs, and it's West Allegheny football for the first time in the second half, looking to put this game to a 3-score advantage for the Indians. Ball spot at their own 32-yard line.
Yes, and even though Hampton does not convert, I do like Giacomario's call there, and another recurring theme along with the countless penalties has been Hampton's willingness to not live in fear and try their best to take it to this West Allegheny football team by taking risks.
1st and 10, Indians at their own 32. Ross in the shotgun. Talkus to his left at fullback. He will give it to his running back, Kenny White, who bounces off a tackle, tries to bounce it to the outside, but he will be brought down well behind the line of scrimmage by Alex Bianco, and we will have a holding call against West Allegheny. Matt Holmes was clearly holding his defensive lineman, Jesse Berzonski, as you take a look at the replay, as they were having a wrestling match pretty much there on that far side of the play where Kenny White ran into Holmes and Berzonski. As a conclave is formed by the referees, Hampton looks like they're going to decline the 10-yard penalty, and because of that, Kenny White now with a 7-yard loss on that play. 2nd down and 17 coming up for the Indians. Ball spotted at their own 25-yard line. And again, West Allegheny moving backwards. And instead of penalties, now they were going backwards on their first play of the second half with a 7-yard loss.
Yes, and Kenny had a similar play in the second quarter, so obviously the goal is to gain yards and not lose them.
Ross in the shotgun. A receiver to his left and Johnson, 2 to his right. He will throw to his right-hand side, and the pass is going to be complete to Colby Stout along that right side. That'll be his first catch of his varsity season in 2016. Taken out of bounds by Michael Yakic at about that 36-yard line. 11-yard pickup. Make that 10. It'll be 3rd down for West Allegheny.
Yes, and that is Colby Stout's first varsity catch of the year. He comes from an athletic family. His brother Christian played basketball and football, graduated 2 years ago. Sister Carolyn was a basketball player, graduated last year. And his younger brother Connor is, I believe, a freshman here at West Allegheny.
Connor plays soccer for the West Allegheny boys soccer team, as they're having another successful season here at West Allegheny. As Ross drops back to pass, he will tuck it and run. He has all kinds of greenery. Will pick up the 1st down as he runs out of bounds at the 43-yard line, where Tyler Steedle chases him out for an 8-yard gain. He needed 7, and that'll be good for another West A 1st down.
That's one thing I like about Nick Ross is his awareness. Whenever he just cannot see an open receiver, he decides to use what speed he has and take it himself. He does that here, and he gets the 1st down for West Allegheny. So smart play by Nick Ross, and hopefully that will end up leading to something big from the West Allegheny offense on the first drive of the second half.
He had a play similar to that late in the first half, which set up the 1-yard touchdown run by Kenny White, in which he looked to throw, and he had all kinds of room and was able to get down to the 1-yard line. It's a very similar play here. Gets the 1st down as West Allegheny will have 1st and 10 at their own 43-yard line. Flags fly before the play can get underway. And it looks like we're going to have some kind of offsides, as there was a pre-snap penalty thrown on the play, and it will be a false start against West Allegheny. So yet another penalty against the Indians pushes them backwards. Ball should be spotted at the 38-yard line. It'll be 1st and 15.
Yes, and we hate to keep talking about all of the laundry on the field, but it just keeps happening in this game, and hopefully it'll be stopped soon. We don't know if West State is going to be able to fix that before this game ends. It is very concerning to see.
Absolutely, especially considering that next week they have Woodland Hills, one of the toughest teams in the entire WPIAL, regardless of classification. As Ross, in the shotgun, throws a screen pass to Brandon Lipford. He is very dangerous with the football, as he will not be able to get away from a couple Hampton Talbot defenders. He gets back to the original line of scrimmage where he is tackled on the play by Ross Anderson and Michael Hoffner, leading to a 2nd down and 10. Getting back to the original line of scrimmage is Brandon Lipford. Lipford's been held in check for the most part throughout tonight's contest. He did have a punt return that went for a touchdown that was called back due to a block in the back and a hold.
Yes, and in order for West Allegheny to make a deep playoff run, they will need Brendan Lipford to be on his A game. He is a huge cog in this offensive attack.
2nd down and 10. Nick Ross gets the play into his offense as they get to the line quickly with 5 seconds showing on the play clock. As Lipford in motion, and we are going to have a stoppage of play for a timeout against West Allegheny. As the play clock was winding down, they had 2 seconds left as Lipford went in motion. And the Indians, another, again, sloppy play in the first half, coming out not looking so sharp in the second half, which, as you said, Joe, could be very alarming for this team.
Yes, we were hoping that when West State scored at the end of the first half, that maybe that would be the fuel that would light the fire and coming out strong in the second half and putting this Hampton team away early. But it's just the same old story. They're moving the ball well, but again, penalties, penalties, penalties. We keep having to say it, but it just keeps happening, and we have to talk about it because it is a very, maybe not a very concerning issue just yet, but it is not something that Coach Palco wants to see, and something's got to change in the makeup of this team as this game goes on.
But also credit the Hampton Talbot defense for holding strong, because even despite West Allegheny having several penalties, the Talbot defense has a bend but not break attitude in this game, as West Allegheny only has 17 points to show for it in the second half. As the Indians, for the first 3 weeks of the season, not an offensive team. They were all defense. Within the last 3 weeks, they were pretty much dominating everybody, as now Nick Ross sends Lipford in motion, and Ross will throw to Cameron Cornell just out of his grasp, leading to a 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, Ross's goal was to throw a short pass to Cameron Cornell, and if nothing else, get maybe a respectable 5-yard gain, but he overthrows Cornell, and that sets up a important 3rd and 10. West Allegheny would hate to have a 3 and out here. That would not send the good vibe here almost at the midway point in the 3rd quarter.
The West State offense comes to the line very quickly as the play clock is at 10, and Ross tries a hard count, doesn't work, so the play comes in from Coach Levchek and Jim D'Amico. And Ross in the shotgun. He looks to pass and will scramble out to his left, throw the pass. It'll be bouncing off the turf before it can be corralled in by Connor Johnson. And it'll be 4th down and 10, and West Allegheny 3 and out to begin its first offensive possession in the second half.
Yes, West State scored to end the first half. They held Hampton in check as the Talbots received the ball to start the second half, but not able to carry that offensive momentum in their first offensive possession of the second half.
Upsatnik on the punt for the second time in this contest. As Upsatnik, no pressure, gets the ball away, goes from right to left. He shanked it a little bit as it goes out of bounds at about the Hampton 35-yard line. Net yard, 21-yard punt, as the referees will say that it rolled out at the 36-yard line. That's where Hampton will take its second possession of the second half. 1st and 10 with 7:33 left to play in the 3rd quarter. West Allegheny leading 17-3.
And Hampton's at the point in the game now where every possession matters. We're halfway through. They're down by 2 touchdowns. Every possession is big. And in order to have a chance to pull off one of the biggest upsets in the WPIAL this season, they got to get points on the board. It sounds simple to say, but that doesn't make it any less important.
And last time Hampton came to West Allegheny, the Talbots fought hard against the Indians, but ultimately ended up losing 10-9 here at Joe P. DeMcCullough Stadium in 2008. as Alex Bianco runs into a wall for no gain, brought down by pretty much the entire defensive line, led by Anthony Delavade, amongst others. 2nd down and 10. But yeah, in 2008, Hampton fought valiantly against West Allegheny in a very similar situation. Hampton was winless on the year. I mean, they finished the season one of the worst offenses in the entire WPIAL. Went 1-8, I believe, and West Allegheny 6-3, and West Allegheny won that game 10-9. 2nd down and 10 with Alex Bianco in the Wildcat formation. He will try to go to his left, and it's a Wildcat pass going to the quarterback in Ross Anderson. It is incomplete, bounces off his football pads. Kenny White getting a little into it with Ross Anderson. Noah Ledford able to calm him down, as Kenny White's getting a little bit emotional right now versus this Hampton individuals, as a flag is dropped as in front of the referee. It'll be picked up as Kenny White, as we mentioned, one of the emotional leaders for this team. Last week he had 13 carries for 87 yards, 2 touchdowns, including his longest run of the game, which was a 58-yard touchdown run on the very first play from scrimmage. Pretty much the deciding factor in that game against Upper St. Clair. Once that play happened, the Panthers just seemed way out of it, and West Allegheny was able to capitalize with a 33-7 win over the Panthers. It'll be 3rd down and 10 for Hampton. Ball spotted at their own 36-yard line. As they break the huddle, Ross Anderson will go into the shotgun yet again. He's got 2 receivers to his right, 3 to his left. And Anderson tucks it and runs up the middle, but he goes nowhere. Matt Holmes comes in on the surge and trips him up as he crosses the 35-yard line. That'll be a loss of about 1 on the play, and Hampton will punt yet again.
Yes, going back to the 2nd down call, I love Giacomadio's aggressiveness. It has been a recurring theme. One of the keys that I mentioned for Hampton was to play like a team with nothing to lose, and regardless of what happens in this game, they have played with no fear, and I commend them on that.
Sam whirling on the punt, and it will be booted away towards Brandon Lipford, who will take it at his own 36-yard line. Makes a man miss. Lipford's very dangerous on special teams as he tries to turn the corner at the 36 and cannot escape the grasp of Max Obenrader. West Allegheny will take over 1st and 10 from their own 36-yard line. As you see there, Lipford makes, Michael Hoffner makes. Anthony Talk is able to fall on him and ensure that he doesn't get up and make a play. But Max Obenrader just outstretches his way to trip up White at the 36-yard line, or trip up Lipford at the 36 to prevent any more damage. 1st and 10, West Allegheny at their own 36. And also, we just got word from our producer, Dakota Lamb, that Woodland Hills is on top of the Moon Tigers right now by a score of 17-10. The Wolverines firing back against the Tigers in a possible upset situation. Direct snap to Kenny White. He finds a crease, runs over Obenrader, dragging a couple Talbots with him down to the 47-yard line. And Kenny White will pick up the 1st down to the 47-yard line. For West Allegheny, it'll be 1st and 10.
And you see Obenrader is the unfortunate man to feel the wrath of Kenny White. That is not the first time that White has ran over a defender tonight. He is not afraid to put his body on the line to gain that extra yard or 2.
You got to admire that about Kenny White. He's willing to sacrifice his body for the betterment of the team, as Kenny White wants to get that WPIAL championship more so than many other players on this team. As Anthony Delavade gets motion from right to left, Kenny White will take the direct snap, pauses, now finally goes along the right-hand side, brought down by Michael Yakic and Max Obenrader right at the 49-yard line for a gain of about 1 on the play. 2nd down and 9.
Yes, the Indians are going ground and pound. They want to wear this Hampton defense out, and as evidenced by the fact that they only have 17 points, I don't think Bob Palco has done that as much as he would have liked to so far in this contest.
Kenny White wants to get a WPIAL ring. the 8th championship in West Allegheny history as badly as anybody does, as we will have a Wildcat formation yet again for White. Expect him to get the carry. Totkis will be on White's left. As Kenny White finds a crease, goes up the middle, and carrying the pile forward down to the 40-yard line. Initial hit by Michael Yakic just in time for the Talbot defense to converge and make the tackle. Tyler Steedle and Jesse Brzonski, amongst others, making the stop at the 40. It'll be a first down and 10 for West Allegheny.
Yes, and you see Kenny White dragging a few defenders with him to get those extra yards that we talked about earlier. He's willing to get the extra yards to move this offense forward, and that is a first down for West Allegheny, and let's see what they can do with it.
First and 10, 4:12 remaining in the third quarter. West Allegheny up by 2 scores. Pretty uncharacteristic in the last couple of weeks to lead Hampton by this score, as Cameron Cornell tries to bounce it to the outside, loses the ball, and the referees will say that Cornell's knee was down on the turf. Tackle was made by Max Obenrader at the 41-yard line. That's a loss of 1, second down and 11, as West Allegheny nearly avoided disaster on that play as Obenrader made the charge. Cornell lost the ball as he went down to the turf, and the whistle was not blown until after the Hampton Talbot defender was able to fall on the football. But luckily for West Allegheny, it will remain their ball, as now in the Wildcat formation is Brandon Lipford. Normally plays wide receiver, but he does have a couple carries on the year, as Lipford will take the snap. Going along the left-hand side, he's at the 30-yard line, pushing his way past Anderson, and Lipford staying on his feet, finding his way forward for the first down to the 28-yard line. That's characteristic about Lipford. He keeps fighting and fighting and fighting, refuses to go down. It takes several Hampton Talbots to bring him down, just as you saw on this last play, as he was finally brought down at the 28-yard line by several Talbots, but not before West Allegheny picks up a first down inside the 30.
Yes, and you've seen that with Kenny White and Cameron Cornell as well, the willingness to get the extra yard. 1 or 2 yards might not seem like much, but it is very important to get absolutely as much ground as possible on a certain run.
Now in the Wildcat formation is Will Weber, who will potentially get his first carry for the first time in weeks, as Weber makes the most of it. He bounces to the outside of the 20-yard line, the 15, drives his way forward as he's brought down at the 11-yard line by Ross Anderson. West Allegheny is now driving inside the 15-yard line, following the 16-yard gain by Will Weber.
Just an excellent run by Weber, excellent blocking by the Indians' offensive line. And the West State Wildcat tradition started with Doran Dickerson, continued with the likes of Mike Caputo, Chase Dillon, and Torrey Delmonico. And why stop what works? The Indians have been running the Wildcat extensively on this drive, and it is getting them far.
One of the names you mentioned, Mike Caputo, one of the prominent athlete figures in West Allegheny history, only played 1 season here in 2009. His senior season was cut short due to an injury, as he is now a coach on this staff, as Kenny White with a direct snap, bouncing to the left side of the 10. He's at the 5, and Kenny White dives. Is he into the end zone? He is, for the West Allegheny touchdown. Kenny White with the 12-yard run, putting the Indians up 23-3.
Yeah, another touchdown for Kenny White. As you watch this replay, watch the blocking by number 19, Brandon Lipford. It's a team effort. Great run by White, great blocking by Lipford and the rest of the Indians' offensive line. That is White's third total touchdown of the evening, and very important for the Indians to score, as this third quarter is at its 2 minutes, 2-minute warning.
I'll go even further on that, and whenever Kenny White corralled the ball, Kieran Fearman, number 71, had an excellent block on Jesse Brzonski, which prevented Brzonski from getting in on the stop as DJ Ipsatnik booms the extra point. And Fearman, one of the senior leaders on this team, doing it again on the offensive line, pancaking another defenseman en route to another West Allegheny touchdown. As now your score with 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter, it's West Allegheny 24 and Hampton 3.
And Kieran Fairmont, the senior, certainly is one of the most vital players of this West Allegheny team. He is planning on playing college football at Colorado State starting next fall. he is the first WPIAL player to ever be a commit to Colorado State. So big things ahead for number 71, Kieran Fairman.
And you saw flashes of potential starting his sophomore year when he saw significant playing time. Finally assumed the position of a two-way starter on the offensive and defensive line last year, and he was an all-conference member. Excuse me on that update between Woodland Hills and Moon. Joe, you remember how I said that Woodland Hills was up 17-10?
Yes, I do.
Well, I was incorrect. Moon is up on Woodland Hills, now 24-10 over the Wolverines. The Tigers are beating Woodland Hills 24-10.
Yeah, I had mixed feelings about that, as a Woodland Hills loss would take some luster out of next week's huge matchup.
DJ Absatnik will lay it in this kick. It'll be taken by Bianco at about the 11-yard line, and Bianco goes along the far sideline. He'll be brought down about the 23-yard line. Making the stop was Paul Fedorka, the freshman for West Allegheny. He has a bright future ahead of him for this Indian team. 1st and 10 Hampton at the 23. As if Moon is able to pull the upset against Woodland Hills, that is huge.
Absolutely.
And West Allegheny, they've struggled against Hampton, but here's the thing. They're winning by 3 touchdowns. They're not losing 24-10, like how Woodland Hills is to Moon.
Yes, the Moon got a big victory over Chartiers Valley next week, and maybe they're fighting their way into that fourth playoff spot, potential for that.
5A is a battle each and every week, as it looks like we may have a new running back in for Hampton, and getting that carry for the Talbots is that new running back. He'll be brought down as he crosses the 25-yard line. That is Tyler Steedle getting the carry for a pick of about 2 yards on the play. 2nd down.
Picks up a yard for the Talbots.
Clock is now winding at 1:30 remaining in the third quarter. Talbots trail 24-3 as we do have a stoppage of play. And we're going to have a timeout called on the field. 1:31 showing on the clock. West Allegheny leading 24-3 in a game in which West Allegheny struggled mightily through the majority of the game. Multiple penalties, multiple miscues, and now it seems as if they're starting to calm down after that long drive, which ended in a 12-yard touchdown by Kenny White, his 3rd touchdown of the game. And now let's see what the Indian defense can do against Hampton. 2nd down and 9 at the 25-yard line. Anderson will roll out with the fake and complete the pass to his wideout in Yakic. Yakic is brought down at the 32-yard line, so that'll be a pick of about 7 yards on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 2, as the Talbots have been able to get the short gains on 1st and 2nd down, which sets up the big play, that not necessarily the big play, but the play that gets maybe 1 or 2 yards past the 1st down marker, continuing drives. And the Talbots looking to continue that streak. It'll be 3rd down and 2 from the 32. Steedle in the backfield, donning the I with a jumbo formation to his left. The handoff will go to Tyler Steedle, and he will have the 1st down for Hampton as he's brought down as he crosses the 35-yard line by Noah Ledford, number 17. As the clock now has 19 seconds showing, as we do have a late flag thrown on the play, and general indication is that it will be a personal foul for unsportsmanlike conduct against West Allegheny, as tempers are flaring for the Indians. And if you're West Allegheny, you've got to keep your emotions in check and just keep pounding the ball and get turnovers, which has been a staple for the Indians. Strong defense, getting turnovers. And once you get your emotions in check and you're able to get into the end zone, West Allegheny will be in the driver's seat. But really, they haven't been able to find that proverbial driver's seat quite yet.
Yes, whether the score is 24-3, 7-3, or 92-3, it doesn't matter. You have to keep your emotions in check. You got somebody's antagonizing you, turn the other cheek. Just play football and focus on that. None of the extra stuff. And that is something that Coach Palco preaches profoundly over his past over his now 22nd season on the West Allegheny sideline.
Score update from the Moon Woodland Hills game. The Wolverines have scored to cut the deficit to 7, so now in the fourth quarter, it's Moon 24 and Woodland Hills 17. As the third quarter will come to a close with the score showing West Allegheny 24 and Hampton 3. You're listening to Brandon Rossi and Joe Smeltzer on the West Allegheny Sports Network. 24-3 is your score as we begin quarter number 4 here at West Allegheny High School. The Indians are taking on the winless Hampton Talbots in a 5A Allegheny 9 conference matchup. Brandon Rossi alongside Joe Smeltzer bringing you the action from Joe P. DeMcCullough Stadium. A sloppy game being played by both teams as Hampton has the ball 1st and 10 from midfield. Along the near hash marks, Ross Anderson will go under center. And Anderson will hand off to his running back. A new tailback in for the Talbots gets nowhere as he'll be brought down in the backfield. On the carry, looks like was Vince Schmidt, the sophomore for the Talbots. He is brought down 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage by Anthony Delavade, amongst others. So the West Allegheny defense has calmed down and been able to cause a loss for Hampton. It'll be 2nd down and 12.
Yes, and while Hampton's game has been taking time off the clock and wearing down the Westside defense, they're at the stage now where if they want a chance at this thing, they need to make big plays happen and fast.
Anderson will hand off to Schmidt again, going up the middle, and he is hit hard by Ledford as he is undercut and taken down from behind by Delavade. He crosses over into West State territory to the 47-yard line. That's a 5-yard pickup by Schmidt. It'll be 3rd down and about 7.
Yes, and another fine performance by number 42, Anthony Delavade. He wears number 42 in honor of his older brother, Armand, who graduated from West Allegheny in 2015 and now is a sophomore football player at Youngstown State University under Bo Pelini.
Armand Delavade graduated with me in 2015. He is not only a football player, he's one of the starting linebackers at Youngstown State, as Hampton will hand the ball off to Alex Bianco. He squirts through the West Allegheny defense as he is tripped up by Alex Bianco and getting very close to the 1st down marker. And it looks like he is going to be brought down 1 yard short of that 1st down marker. It'll be 4th down and 1. And really for Hampton, there's no other choice. You got to go for it in this situation.
Yes, and entering the game for West Allegheny is number 75, Logan Rossi.
That is my younger brother, assuming the position at nose tackle for West Allegheny, as Ross Anderson going under center, as he will hand off to Bianco, and Bianco is brought down in the backfield by Kieran Fearmont. Fearmont coming in and making a spectacular defensive play, leading to a Hampton turnover on downs. And as you see on the replay, West Allegheny creating a little bit of confusion by switching around the defenders. Fearmont comes in untouched on the play, bringing down Bianco hard, 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and West Allegheny takes over on downs.
Yes, number 71, not an easy man to block, and he bolts through the Hampton defensive line. As you said, the switch by Brian Cornell of his defenders makes a big difference in that play, and the Indians take over, hoping to put this one to bed.
It'll be 1st down and 10 for West Allegheny. Ball spotted at their own 44-yard line. As assuming the Wildcat position, Will Weber, he finds a crease, splits the defense at the 30. He's at the 20, one man to beat, and he will dive into the end zone. Will Weber goes 56 yards for the West Allegheny touchdown to put the Indians up by a score of 30-3.
And that's the big play that the Indians have been waiting for. Will Weber, big run, great blocking for Ed Marcellus' offensive line. Is now 30-3 pending the extra point. And I think this one, with 9:33 to play in the ball game, is all but wrapped up.
And if you're Hampton, you just got to play with pride right now. You're down 27 points. And if DJ Absadnik can make this extra point, it'll be 28 points. As again, you're playing with pride. You're winless on the year. West Allegheny, slow in some parts offensively. Lots of mistakes, but they do have a 30-3 lead. And with DJ Absatnik's extra point, that will go through the uprights, making it 31-3. West Allegheny well on their way to their 7th win of this undefeated 2016 campaign. 9:33 showing on the clock in the 4th quarter. Indians take a 31-3 lead over Hampton. If West Allegheny comes away with a victory, they will clinch a playoff spot in the WPIAL 5A playoffs that will begin in just a few weeks. Next week, West Allegheny is at Woodland Hills to take on the Wolverines in a highly anticipated matchup. Woodland Hills trailing Moon right now, 24-17. And then the following week, West Allegheny will play host to Moon in a crosstown rivalry between the Tigers and the Indians. The Talbots, on the other hand, will host Upper St. Clair next week. No easy task for Hampton. And then in week 9, they will go to North Hills to take on the Indians in the final game of the year. Hampton's schedule not getting any easier after tonight.
Yes, and that regular season finale with Moon could loom large for both teams, as West Allegheny could potentially be fighting to wrap up a conference title, while Moon could be fighting to secure that 4th playoff spot that is really anybody's ball game right now.
But that conference title, we're going to have to wait and see what happens next week at the Wolverina between West Allegheny and Woodland Hills. The Wolverina, always a tough place for anybody to come in and play Woodland Hills, as that place is a spectacle for Woodland Hills fans. It is a home field advantage for that team. George Novak, one of the most highly touted coaches in the entire Whippeal, as Absatnik kicks this one deep down to Alex Bianco, who takes it from the 7-yard line, runs into a West Allegheny defender, which is Logan Malatak. And as you see right there, the road ahead for the Indians, as we mentioned, next week they're at Woodland Hills, and then in week 9 they will host Moon in anticipation for the WPIAL quarterfinal matchup that will take place on November the 4th. And with the new classifications, there's only 8 teams that make the playoffs, so instead of having a first-round game, you will go straight into the quarterfinals, so you only need 2 wins to get to Heinz Field instead of 3. So Hampton has 1st and 10 from the 22-yard line. West Allegheny has the reserves in, some of the second string, as Anderson will hand off to the running back Vince Schmidt. And Schmidt goes off left tackle and gets down to the 26-yard line, where it looks like he is going to be brought down on the play by Will Weber, making it 2nd down and 6.
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, the new playoff format now means that the Week 9 matchup with Moon will be the last game these seniors will ever play at Joe P. DiMichele Stadium.
Hampton will go under center. Ross Anderson, the quarterback, handing off to Schmidt, going along the left-hand side, and he is brought down on the play by Anthony Delavade right at the 27-yard line. Gain of 1 by Schmidt. It'll be 3rd down, and Vince Schmidt, only a sophomore, more than likely will assume the role of starting running back next year for the Talbots, as Alex Bianco, the senior, will be graduating this upcoming 2017 school year, as Hampton will have a 3rd down and 5 from the 27. Like we mentioned, most of the reserves now in the game. Logan Rossi, Bryce Manley, the brother or the stepbrother of Sean Orsini, as Vince Schmidt goes off right tackle. We have flags fly before the handoff. Schmidt is brought down by Mikey Clarkin at the 30-yard line.
Yes, and even though this game is pretty close to being put to bed with the score being 31-3, it's important to these coaches that the youngsters getting in, a lot of the guys are mainly JV guys. It's important that they play as sort of an audition for the rest of this year and next season. They need to go 100% and do whatever they can to impress Bob Palco and this West Allegheny coaching staff.
And it's also a bit of a warm-up for the West Allegheny side, as tomorrow the Indians will be at Hampton High School for the junior varsity game. They take on the Talbots in a JV game. West Allegheny's JV team has not lost a conference matchup since 2006 in the junior varsity ranks. That in itself is just remarkable. As looks like Hampton, there was a flag called on Hampton. West Allegheny will decline, leading to a 4th down and 2. Sam whirling on the punt. And Connor Johnson nearly gets a hand on the ball as Lipford will let the ball roll down, and he picks it up at the 23-yard line. Lipford with some space. He's got an opening down the 45-yard line at the 50, and he fights his way past a Hampton Talbot. What a play by Brandon Lipford as he splits the Hampton Talbot kick coverage and goes into the end zone for a 77-yard West Allegheny touchdown, and the route is on for the Indians.
Talk about making something out of nothing. Lipford picks up the ball, takes a few steps back, and you see the replay. Just a phenomenal run from a phenomenal athlete, and West Allegheny adds on, and this has officially become a route that a lot of us were expecting coming in.
It took longer than expected, but West Allegheny now up by 5 possessions, looking to make it 35 points, pending the DJ Upsatnik. Now correction, that is Adam Dolan on to attempt the extra point. Dolan, a soccer player for West Allegheny, coming on as the reserve kicker for the Indians. And the holder is Noah Ledford, takes the high snap, corrals it, and Dolan booms it through the uprights, making the score 38-3 in favor of West Allegheny. And like we said, the Indians had a sloppy game for the majority of the contest, but now things have settled down, and now 2 special teams touchdowns by West Allegheny lead to a 38-3 lead over the Talbots. Also looking around the Allegheny 9, Moon and Woodland Hills, as we said, in a surprisingly tight game. Moon now leads 27-17 over the Woodland Hills Wolverines. And also in 2A, it's not very prominent or important to West Allegheny, but this is pretty astounding in itself. Steel Valley and East Allegheny played tonight, 2 of the top teams in 2A, which would decide that conference. And the final score of that game, Steel Valley 66 and East Allegheny 0.
Yeah, Steel Valley, very arguably the most dominant team in 2A, led by Paris Ford, the transfer from St. LaSalle, who plans on playing football at the University of Pittsburgh.
Adam Dolan on to kick off for West Allegheny. Also another final score in the Allegheny 9. North Hills coming away with a 14-7 victory over Chartiers Valley. Hard-fought game, but as of right now, North Hills, the number 4 team in the Allegheny 9, who, if the playoffs started today, North Hills would be that 4th and final team out of the Allegheny 9 to make the playoffs, as the kick is taken by the Hampton return man, Tyler Steedle. He is brought down as he crosses the 35-yard line by Connor Johnson. It'll be 1st down and 10 for Hampton. Other scores around the Whitfield. Central Catholic dominating Altoona by a score of 62-0, as the mercy rule clock is now in effect, as the game has now reached a 30-point deficit, thus leading to a running clock for the remainder of the game. Also some other scores. Riverside, I should say, is leading Cardinal World North Catholic 28-26 in that contest. And now a handoff goes to Vince Schmidt up the middle. He is met on the play by a host of Indians at the 36-yard line. Getting in on the stop looks like was the senior Carlos Norman. Norman also performs in the theater at West Allegheny. Last year he was in the musical Chicago, which was a fantastic show for the West Allegheny musical. Carlos did an outstanding job there, as Hampton will have 2nd down and 9 from the 36. Max Obenreiter now the quarterback for the Talbots, the sophomore. And Obenreiter he will take the snap and throw a bomb down to the wide open Tommy Fink, who drops the pass, leading to a 3rd down and 9.
Yeah, Fink just can't get a handle on it. It was a good ball by Obenreiter. Could have been a big play, but it's been a frustrating second half for the Hampton Talbots, and it just continues with that. What should have been a big play ends up being just an incompletion.
And what I'm noticing right now for Hampton is that the entire starting offensive line is still in the game. However, the specialty players like the quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, they're all 2nd string. Max Obenreiter, 2nd string. He's a starting cornerback. You have backup fullback in Tommy Fink, backup running back Vince Schmidt, and you also have actually the starting receivers in the Steedles, as Obenreiter will throw to Steedle along the left side. Austin Steedle with the reception. Great catch there over Carlos Norman. Correction. That was over Tyler Anderson, but we do have a flag on the play. It looks like it may be pass interference against West Allegheny, but the penalty probably will be declined, as he was able to corral the ball at the 44-yard line, and it was a pass interference against the Indians. Hampton retains possession. It'll be 1st and 10 from the Indian 44-yard line with just over 5 minutes remaining and counting in the game.
Yes, Tyler Anderson, a senior, first year with the football team, but he has played, last season in particular, he has played a large role on Brian Cornell's baseball team, starting at second base on a team that went to the Whitfield quarterfinals before bowing out to Blackhawk.
1st and 10 for the Talbots. The handoff goes to Vince Schmidt, and he has a crease along left tackle and breaks a couple tackles before being brought down on the play by Bryce Manley, number 52, the stepbrother of Sean Orsini, former West Allegheny great linebacker, now playing at St. Francis University, one of the starting linebackers there. Also his stepbrother, or his real brother, I should say, Ethan Manley, who now goes to the University of Kentucky. And also Bryce Manley's stepsister, Faith Orsini, a cheerleader for the West Allegheny varsity cheerleading squad. 4 minutes now showing on the clock. West Allegheny leads 38-3. Obenreiter now under center, with Vince Schmidt on the eye. He will get that carry, and Schmidt will run into a wall on the play. No gain on the play. Tackle made by a host of Indians. Among that host was Brock Downing and Logan Rossi at the 37-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
Logan Rossi, number 75, will stop for West Allegheny.
West Allegheny will look to build off of their momentum next week when they take on the Woodland Hills Wolverines, who are in a battle, surprisingly, with Moon right now. As it'll be 3rd down and 3 for the Talbots. Obenreiter now under center, sends a man in motion. And the give again is to Schmidt, and Schmidt tries to fight forward, but again he'll be brought down at the line of scrimmage for no gain. And that'll bring up 4th down and 3. And as we wind down on the clock, we'd like to thank our sponsors that have supported West Allegheny football. Sponsors such as AC Delevate Incorporated, Caputo Insurance Agency, Emily Davis Photography, Garden of Eating Pizzeria, Chem Oil, Men's Warehouse, Monarch Student Transportation Corporation, the North Fayette Police Department, the North Fayette Township and Supervisors, the North Star Restaurant and Tiki Bar, Peppercini's, Precision Laser and Instrument Incorporated, Self-Storage of North Fayette, TC House, the Township of Findlay, the Commonwealth Title USA, and Kenny Ross of Toyota.
One of those you mentioned was Emily Davis Photography. if you are a sophomore or a junior and you're watching this broadcast, I highly recommend that you get your senior pictures taken by either Emily or Jessica Marshall, who also works at the studio. They do a great job. They take great pictures, and you will not be disappointed if you have your senior pictures taken by Emily Davis.
Encroachment called on West Allegheny. 5-yard penalty. 1st and 10. Hampton at the 32-yard line as the handoff goes to Schmidt along the left side. Breaks a couple tackles, but he can't avoid the second wave of Indians as he is brought down by Sebastian Ricketts, amongst others. As you take a look at the replay here, ball spot at the 32. Schmidt eludes a tackle, eludes Norman, but he can't avoid Sebastian Ricketts. And Nate Vislowski, a name that we haven't called too much, as that'll be a loss of about 2, pushing them back to the 34-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 12.
Yeah, so while this possession might not mean anything as far as the outcome of this game goes, Brian Cornell and Greg Marshall and West Allegheny would not like to allow any points here. They want to finish strong and go into next week with everything clicking, as we've seen things start to click in the second half.
Oben Raider will take the snap, roll out to his left, and he will throw under pressure. Pass will fall incomplete to Fink. He was put under pressure there by, looks like, Carlos Norman, bringing up a 3rd down and about 12 from the 34-yard line. Hampton is going to move to 0-8 overall on the year, as they will look to reverse their misfortunes in the coming weeks when they host the Upper St. Clair Panthers next week. And then in week 9, they will travel to Martorelli Stadium to take on the North Hills Indians. West Allegheny, on the other hand, will travel to the Wolverine and take on Woodland Hills in a battle for number 1 in the 5A classification, as the final play of the game will be a handoff to Vince Schmidt, and Schmidt is driven backward by Sebastian Ricketts on the final play of the game. So your final score is going to be West Allegheny 38 and the Hampton Talbots 3 in a game that was very sloppily played by West Allegheny. However, they were able to correct their mistakes in the 4th quarter and come away with an easy 38-3 victory.
West Allegheny 38 and Hampton 3. We want to wish the Hampton Talbots luck as they go through their last 2 games. They'll be playing Upper St. Clair next week, and of course the West Allegheny Indians will be
and West Allegheny in anticipation for their matchup next week versus Woodland Hills. You got for the first 3 quarters. For the first 3 quarters, you got to think that if West Allegheny plays like that next week, they're going to be in trouble against a stout Woodland Hills team.
Yes, regardless of what ends up happening with this very tight game between Woodland Hills and the Moon Tigers, West Allegheny has got to clean up their act. We talked about it a little less in the second half, but penalties were a huge issue. Dumb mistakes were a huge issue, and you might be able to get away with that against a team like Hampton, but against Woodland Hills, especially on the road in the Wolf Arena, that is not going to cut it. So that is something that will be stressed in practice this week.
West Allegheny playing next week. Woodland Hills, the number 1 team in terms of turnovers, as Woodland Hills has forced 17 turnovers thus far in the 2016 campaign, not counting week 0. If you count week 0, they've given up, or they forced, I should say, 21 turnovers. So if West Allegheny wants to come away with a victory next week, they need to take care of the football and limit the penalties, which they could not do in this game.
Yes, and another thing that will be important is West Allegheny cannot get flustered by some would say the intimidation of the Wolf Arena. Even though they were not victorious at the Wolf Arena last season, I do not think that it was because they were flustered. They played a pretty well-played game and ended up on the short end 22-15. But if they can take care of the football, if they can limit mental mistakes, if they can play with confidence and believe that they are going to come out victorious and not let Woodland Hills and their fans rattle them, then I think there's a very good chance that West Allegheny could come away with a huge win next week.
However, you got to take into consideration the fact that if Woodland Hills does end up getting upset by the Moon Tigers, they're losing, last I checked, 27-17 against Moon. Woodland Hills, whenever they come off of a defeat, they are nearly unstoppable. The last 3 times that they've come off defeats, in 2014, they lost to West Allegheny and beat a good Mount Lebanon team 47-0. The following week, they lost to Penn Hills 22-15, and they throttled North Hills 41-2. And then this year, they lost to Penn Trafford by a score of 26-7. And then this year, they beat up on Hampton 43-7. So if Woodland Hills does end up losing to Moon, West Allegheny's got to be on their tip-top game if they want to come out victorious.
Absolutely. If Woodland Hills would fall tonight, then that will add a chip on their shoulder. But I also believe that West Allegheny will have somewhat of a chip on their shoulder next week. Even though they got the victory, and they got a victory by a considerably wide margin, I feel that they will be very frustrated with the way they played in the first half, frustrated with their poor fundamentals, frustrated with the penalties holding them back. So I believe that both West Allegheny and Woodland Hills will be extremely focused, prepping in practice this week. Both Coach Novak of Woodland Hills and Coach Palco of West Allegheny will stress the massive importance of the conference battle at the Wolf Arena in Turtle Creek next week.
Next week, we unfortunately will not be able to broadcast the game on the West Allegheny Sports Network due to Root Sports covering the game next week at the Wolf Arena. And if you want to check out that game, tune in to Root Sports next week whenever West Allegheny takes on the Woodland Hills Wolverines. But that just about does it here at West Allegheny High School. Tune in 2 weeks whenever the West Allegheny Indians take on the Moon Tigers in the final game of the regular season right here at Joe B. D. McCullough Stadium. For Joe Smeltzer, I'm Brandon Rossai saying thank you so much for joining us on the West Allegheny Sports Network, and have a good night.